Warning: the Khaotic Krew podcast is a program for mature audiences. The language and content presented in this podcast is of a mature nature that some audiences may not find suitable. Viewer and listener discretion is advised.
Embrace the culture, blaze the doja, grab your loved ones and bring them closer. Extra, extra, read the poster, the KKP is taking over. Sleeping on me, better smell the Folgers. I've been razor sharp since the Motorola. Off for O, like the cover Oprah. Popping bottles, feet all in the sofa. It's a celebration, though the times is hard. It's raining blessings, give it up to God. Chaotic culture, the greatest pod. With Ked the Pro, the one in charge, but it's a celebration. Times is hard, it's raining blessings, give it up to God. Chaotic culture, the greatest pod. With Ked the Pro, the one in charge.
We're living in a chaotic culture. 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 Oh, we're living in a chaotic culture. 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 Oh, we're living in a chaotic culture. 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 Oh, we're living in a chaotic culture. We're living in a chaotic culture. We're living in a chaotic culture. We're living in a chaotic culture.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another edition of the Khaotic Krew podcast, the pod where chaos rules and black culture is elevated and embraced. This podcast will deep dive into modern black culture and how millennials and Gen Z can navigate the crazy parts, from finances, music, black business highlights, home ownership, HBCUs, sports, black nerdom, anime. We cover all that and everything in between. Live from the 7-5, I am the host and the creator of the Khaotic Krew podcast. This is your boy, Ked the Pro, a.k.a. KJ, a.k.a. the Calculating Millennial, the Cutlass Diamond, a.k.a. Don't be pushing on my buttons, in my guts, unless you cutting. The 843 is me, but VA is where I stay. Always chaotic, never toxic on most days. Back again, once again, just to give you guys some more black culture related content. As always, of course, if you listen to our last episode, I thank you very much for you tuning in. We had a nice interview with Studio Maho. Shout out to Pat, aka Gumbo Goon, and shout out to Allende, aka Yin Designs and Kokujin Creates. We definitely appreciate them swinging by and giving us positive vibes. With me, as always, is the Khaotic Krew here. First and foremost, let's go ahead and introduce the squad, starting with Miss Nasa this time. Please introduce yourself, ma'am.
Hey y'all, how y'all doing? You already know who it is. You already know who it is and what it does. It's your girl, the queen, Nasa, aka Tony Noir, the female Picasso. I hope everyone is doing well. I hope everyone is mental is doing great. How is everyone doing? I hope y'all's week is doing great. Was doing great. Everybody's mental was in the right space. I need an amen from everybody.
Amen. You already know.
I like spirit.
Yeah, we doing good. We doing good. We definitely gonna run down the mental health check to be sure that we're doing straight. And making sure that we're all on our P's and Q's today. And then to the other gentleman on this pod, Mr. Law, please go ahead and introduce yourself, sir.
Well, what's going on? Good morning. Back again, another week. Just here, like I said, uplift, positive vibes amongst my fellow brother and sister. You know what I'm saying? And if everything is, tip-top shape, we can get right into it.
Word. So with that, we have two guests in the building joining us for this music roundtable, ladies and gentlemen. They are both from the Worst Generation podcast. The first mate of the pod, we all know him as Leek, but you can follow him, of course, at Call Me Leek. I definitely want him to get a chance to introduce himself. Go ahead and introduce yourself, Leek.
What up? It's One Piece Leek, as he said, of the Worst Generation podcast. First mate Leek, Twitter fingers Leek, all that. If you follow the Worst Generation podcast page, 99% of the time you're talking to me. So this is putting the face with the tweets, or you might follow my wholesome account, Call Me Leek. I'm standing by the wholesome title, and I absolutely will defend that. But yeah, man, I'm glad to be here. Been looking forward to this episode all week because it's three things that I can talk about all day. Anime, football and basketball, and fucking music. So,
Hey,
especially TDE. I have a very long relationship with TDE. So I'm ready to get into it.
yes, sir. Yes, sir. I definitely appreciate you coming through, Leak. I knew the moment that you tweeted about it, I was like, you know what? Let me go ahead and pull him on this episode as well, because I know that he could talk extensively about this. Another person who can talk extensively about this is also from the Worst Generation podcast. Rome, please go ahead and introduce yourself, sir, Mr. Lettuce.
Hello, what's going on? It's me, Rome, what you probably know me as Master D or Pandemic D, whichever you may know from the Worst Generation podcast. I'm here to talk about TDE, and I am very excited. Yo, I love TDE, Kendrick, his whole crew. Even some of the artists I even found on the list I didn't even know about, but I'm checking them out now. They piqued my interest. So I'm excited to talk about this for sure.
Excellent. Well, we definitely appreciate you guys coming through. Before again we get into the topic of the day, let's just ask, of course, how everybody's mental health is doing to make sure everybody is doing good. It is Women's History Month, so Ms. Nasa, you go first.
Okay. Since it is Women's History Month, I will definitely say I am doing very well. I feel like I've gotten into a place, I wouldn't say I'm happy, but I'm definitely at peace. And I think that everybody should strive for peace instead of happiness. And I think that's a very high goal that we should always strive for. Now, what I say, have I made peace within myself? Not yet, and not fully, but it's getting there. But I definitely have made peace with my surroundings. And so I feel like that's a major accomplishment for me. Also, since we're speaking of women and just women empowerment and just more so just kind of like on the business aspect, I am creating a journal series.
Oh, let's go.
I have created a journal series that I'm calling it the Female Picasso. I'm also creating a series for my male counterparts, as well as my little kitties and kiddos. So I want everyone to feel like they are a masterpiece in their own way and be able to get their creative thoughts and just whatever they feel out on paper, because I know journaling is something that's very dear to my heart. So I'm calling it the Female, Male, and the Kid Picasso. So stay tuned for that, and I'll keep y'all updated in regards to that. But other than that, my mental health is actually very well. So
That's good to hear. Law, how's your mental health been?
Hey, I ain't gonna lie. I've been dealing with some stuff personally. It's nothing bad, but it's just pushed me even more to stay on tip-top shape of things. It would be easy to get wrapped up in it, but it's just one of those days to take it one day at a time.
Hey man, one foot in front of the other. That's the best policy. That is the best policy. Same thing with me, man. This week, it's actually hasn't been bad, but I realized that things in my family, we're still, trying to come together and make things work. So hopefully, we could come to a resolution soon and figure things out. For those who know, if you don't, don't worry about it, but still just keep us in prayer. And at the same time, just hope that we can get the mental health services that we need. I'm on my website right now, just making sure that I finalize everything for, of course, a therapist. So y'all just keep us locked in, send your light, send your prayers. And yeah, that's pretty much what I got to say. But other than that, I mean, the week has not been bad at all. It's actually gone by pretty fast, and I'm actually looking forward to this episode. So I'm pretty hyped today. Leek, how's your mental health been, sir?
I've actually been super decent as of late. I'm usually just kind of meh in the middle, but I feel like I've had a good week. I feel like I've got stuff done. Looking forward to stuff that's coming up, so I can't complain.
Hey, that's good to hear. That is always good to hear, man. I'm definitely hoping that your family is doing well as well, and hopefully it's some good things will be coming your way soon, as well as for everybody else. If you got family issues, just again, let us know what we can do to assist in the best way that we can. And overall, man, just again, And that is the important thing, is just to keep one foot in front of the other. Rome, how's your mental health been?
It's pretty okay. This week has been kind of trying, especially at work. It's been kind of busy, especially with all the babies being born, because I work in labor and delivery. So the workload has been kind of intense the past few weeks, matter of fact, the past few years, but I've been handling it better. I've been learning to handle the workload a lot easier, and just trying to avoid unnecessary drama, unnecessary stress that will come on because I'm in school, and that's what's really trying to focus on right now. But mental health's been pretty decent. I do meditate every now and then, so that helps keep me zen.
Hey, good to hear, man. And hey, trust me, I know when work gets trying. I've been there, done that, and some of the customers that I deal with are just absolutely ridiculous. So,
oh man, I know about that retail life.
Yeah, man. It's crazy, but you know what? I've been doing it for so long now. I'm numb to it and I'm used to it. So when customers get angry at me, I'm just like, what you want me to do about it? I've tried my best to help you, but if you're gonna act like that towards me, I'm just gonna be what's the word I'm looking for? I'm just not gonna care.
Yeah,
just keep it simple. Yeah, this is like okay, whatever. But either way, I'm glad that at least everybody is doing okay. For those who aren't, then again, we just hope that things get better as the week progresses. And with that, I appreciate hearing from everybody. So with that, we're not gonna keep you guys much longer here. We're definitely gonna go ahead and get jumping into this music roundtable discussion, which happens to be on the TDE discography. So for my audience members, one more time, we're going to give the rules. We had to modify a little bit of a rule here for this particular discography here, because we know that some of the artists may have dropped work outside of TDE or before they were signed. And then, of course, there's always the mixtapes that the original four had dropped before their actual project. So I wanted to be sure that everybody knew we were not covering any of the earlier mixtapes or any project that was dropped before certain artists signed to TDE. Also, there is a modification to rule number 1, which I'm going to read here now. So for the music roundtable discussion, albums, projects are graded on a letter grade scale between S and F, with S being superior or classic, A being great, B being good, C being mid, D for dud, and F for flop. For this Tiermaker, EPs under 6 songs will have its own category and will be placed in order of best to worst. Anything over 6 will be placed in the normal tier. When determining grades, all participants should consider the following: composition and structure, lyrics, subject matter, production, vibe, and overall impact of the album on society. Graders can give their honest opinion about a project, but also consider factors when giving a project its proper placement. Majority rules for grades on an album and their placement as far as ranking. However, if there is a disagreement on a certain album, the grades will be broken down into actual points, and the average point total will determine the ranking for the album. At the end, if multiple albums are in a ranking class and the order from greatest to least cannot be determined, the point system will also come into play to determine the correct order. The points are allocated on a college level grade point scale, with S rank being anything over 100. In this case, S is 100 to 110, A is 90 to 99, B is 80 to 89, C 70 to 79, D 60 to 69, F 59 and below. S rank has to be capped at 110 to avoid any point disadvantages. Are we clear on the rules?
Let's get it.
Yep.
All right. Sounds good. So with that, I'm now going to share the screen. And with that, the way that we're actually going to start off is from newest artists up to oldest, which means that we are going to start with the newest artist on TDE, which would be Ray Vaughn, and go all the way until we get to the grand finale, which is Kendrick Lamar. So with that, we have to take a look at Ray Vaughn. Now, with Ray Vaughn, he only had one EP under TDE. He has an album called Idol, but obviously he dropped that before he signed. So we cannot really grade Idol here. However, if you haven't listened to Idol, definitely peep it out. It is a solid album. He goes deep into his, lack of daddy issues as well as his fighting with his girl. That seems to be the story of this album. But with that, we do have to at least talk about the 3-song EP that he dropped, Peer Pressure. Now, with EPs like this, I just, a quick response will be fine of where you think the grade is. I had said that the EP was B-, but of course, we'll figure out where all the other short EPs rank. So I just want to see if anybody else has any disagreements on that particular grade, or do you think it's lower or higher? What are your thoughts?
Who wants to go first?
All right, so look, I got a little tidbit that I was listening to. I say his flow and his penmanship has similarities to Roddy Ricch. It wasn't really anything that would be like, yo, I gotta listen to this again, but it was enough for me to be like, yo, okay, I can kind of dig him as an artist, if that makes sense.
I agree.
So like, yeah, like where you put it at, a B minus is probably a solid grade.
Okay. Anybody else have any thoughts?
I would give this probably like lyrically, he is good. Lyrically, he is good. I would probably give this be like a C plus.
Okay.
C plus, B minus, C plus.
I would agree with the C plus rating. Like he had some good flows. I enjoyed his lyricism. Like he had me like captivated in his actual world like he was trying to portray, but the line delivery just wasn't hitting like how I wanted to hit, like, especially like for being on TDE. But he definitely did like keep it going enough to like make me listen more and actually check out his actual album Idol. So I give him like a C plus.
Okay. And Lee?
So I'm not gonna lie. When I listen to it, oh my God, this child will not stop. But when I listened to it, I thought it was cool. That's it. It was kind of forgettable. It wasn't great. It wasn't bad. I think it was mid.
Okay. Sounds good. So again, since this EP is only about 3 songs, it'll be in the EP category. And then of course, if we find any EPs that have in that 3-song, 6 songs range that it's going to be, bigger than this, of course, we'll come back to that. So with that means we have to go on to the next newest artist, which is Reason. Now, Reason has 3 projects, a commercial tape, an actual album, and then an EP as well. So with Reason, we have to start with There You Have It, which initially was not released under TDE, but was released as a commercial tape when he signed the TDE. So we have to count this project. What are some of your thoughts on Reason's There You Have It?
Yeah, so I actually overlooked this as I was going through the list.
I ain't gonna hold you. I thought I was the only one. I said, hold the hell up.
I didn't listen.
I looked at the list. I'm looking at the list now. I said, I done skipped over.
Man. Can I
I
go then?
Go ahead, Lee.
Rayvon
Man,
to Lance Skywalker. But
I went to
I got
Deadass.
I can't, man. You know what's crazy?
I listened to him.
Before this tape, I'd never listened to him, right? So I put the tape on, I played it. In my opinion, this is one of the best projects off the whole album. I think the only person consistently that has put out something better than this is Kendrick. I honestly feel like this song, me, I don't think this album has any skips.
Okay.
And you're talking about There You Have It.
Well, damn.
Yeah.
Then that means I definitely gotta
Yeah.
go back and listen to
Like
it.
this, I think this is fire. Like to me,
And,
literally outside of Kendrick, I think this is one of the best projects off the entire label.
Okay.
looking at the
Even
track list,
better
I'm
than
pretty
Q?
sure there are songs that I've heard before. You know what I'm saying? But like again, when we got the list, I
Mhm.
probably just overlooked it.
Hey, man, it's fine. It's fine.
I'm definitely gonna have to go back and listen to it because off rip, just like the intro, just dun, dun, dun. Okay, 10-4. I'll go back.
Rome,
Yeah.
did you have any thoughts on there you have it?
Yeah, I did. I listened to it. I wouldn't call it better than audio projects as Leak would say, but I did enjoy his actual tape. It was pretty dope. That there was a song "Fuck with Me" that's definitely stuck with me a lot. I enjoyed that one. On replay value was definitely high. As for like his flow, definitely it reminded me a lot of Kendrick in a way, and like how his storytelling was told, like how he actually broke down a lot of his songs. But in terms of how do I say this? In terms of how he actually broke down his actual structure of his album, it didn't really hit me hard like how I wanted to, like for most other artists. I like how the storytelling, like I can consistent flow, from A to B and continue with the story. He did a decent job. So I'll give him a B plus.
Okay. All right. So I guess that just leaves my opinion here. And thankfully I took the opportunity to tweet my thoughts on almost each and every project here. So this was my first introduction to Reason as an artist years ago, and in my opinion, the flow here is almost impeccable. The tape is filled with hood tales and feel good tracks, as Reason does not look to follow the trends going on in today's hip hop scene, but would rather stick to what he knows. Gritty stories over smoothed out tracks with great samples, like tracks like Better Days, Word to Pop, Colored Dreams, Killers Part 2, and Situations all paint the picture of what truly goes on in the minds of those trapped by the system and consequences they face. Whereas like Thirst, Corrupt, and Fuck With Me hips on the romanticism of being a hood nigga. Overall, this tape is a very somber coming of age story that really fits in the art style of rap TDE is known for. I had given it on my initial listen to B. I went back and I think I would say in that it could flow anywhere between that B plus A minus range. So honestly, it comes down to us three to kind of figure out where do we place there. You have it. Leak, did you are you putting it as S or are you putting it as A?
It's an A.
It's an A.
It's an A.
Okay.
Can
What
I
would
ask a
be
question for it?
what was up?
Is Reason the artist that did he did a freestyle and he was rapping about having his EBT card?
I'm trying to
I
think.
think about
I don't know if I was trying to figure out if that was him or if that was Ray Vaughn. I'd have to go back and look at that one. But let's see. I can't find it. But yeah, I'll try. I'm tracking on that one, so I'll have to follow up with you on that one, Law. So Lee says it's an A. I said it was B plus. Rome said it was B. So we just gotta kind
It's a B plus.
Oh, B plus. Okay.
Yeah, B plus.
All right. So I'm saying 89 for my grade. Leak. What's the number grade for your A? Or did he disappear? Oh, okay. We'll come back to it. 89. So Rome, would you say like 89? 88?
Yeah, probably 88.
88. Okay.
Yeah.
And dang it, I wish Leak didn't disappear. But I guess he got kids. So
Yeah.
we are going to divide that by 3. Since he said A, I just put it in the middle at 95 here. So that leaves the album at a solid A minus, 90.6. So there you have it. We'll go up into great. There he is.
It was Ray Vaughn, by the way.
Okay, so I thought so. All right, cool. So Leak, just to let you know, there you have it. Comes out to an A minus. So we put it up in the A category. That leaves us with his next album, his actual debut album with TDE, which is New Beginnings. Did any thoughts?
I'm not gonna lie. I feel like There You Have It set the bar here, and his follow-up didn't meet those same expectations for me. But I feel like it's a solid playthrough, but it doesn't have those same memorable moments as There You Have It. I would say it's somewhere between a B and a C. It's not bad, but it's also not There You Have It. So I think it's solid to good.
Do you feel like that's because of the main artist or main label's idea of sound and depiction for what they want from their artist?
Somewhat, but for the most part, I feel like TDE kind of lets you do what the hell you want. So
I won't argue that point. I get what you're saying, but it's like a lot of, well, we'll get to it. But I get what you're saying.
Yeah, like, I mean, sonically it still sounds good. He's still rapping, but I feel like there's a lot more memorable moments off There You Have It. Like, I could still listen to this, but if you ask me right now, like, what's my favorite song, I wouldn't be able to tell you.
So what you're saying is you went industry and you just not fucking with it?
Nah, it's not even that he went industry. It's just, I don't know. And the thing, like, a lot, it kind of relates to a lot of the newer artists of TDE for me, where they kind of sound a lot alike. They don't rap the same, but the music sounds very similar. And I just feel like I kind of got lost in it when I was listening to it. Like, it kind of it's one of those type of things that you play it, and you know, normally when you listen to something that's really good, you'll play it no matter what you're doing. You'll hear something that make you, hold on, what the hell was that? Rewind. Let me run it back. I didn't have that moment on this tape. Whereas There You Have It was full of those moments for me.
Okay. I don't disagree. I'll get into my take in just a little bit here. Anybody else have any thoughts on New Beginnings?
For me, it was a pretty good album. Like, I agree with Leak. It wasn't memorable. It didn't have like a lot of songs that I would go back to and like try to actually say, oh, this is pretty dope. But it was a solid, like, you know, actual album in itself. Like, his flow was kind of pretty much the same. Like, I like some of his samples and I like some of his features on the album that made it decent enough for me to like, get through it. For letter grade, I'll give it, I won't say like a solid C.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair point. Anybody else? Okay.
This is for, and this one was for a reason, right?
Yep. It's Reason's album, New Beginnings.
Okay. I really wish that I had listened to both of these projects, and I'm pissed that I didn't.
hey, look, it's okay.
I'm sad that I did it. It sounds like they were really dope. Like,
yeah,
there you have it. But that's okay. That's okay.
It's perfectly fine. It is perfectly fine. We'll come back to it. Now here is, I guess I'll go ahead and I'll just throw my take on it. For a major label debut, it's solid. It's not anything spectacular or groundbreaking by any stretch, but the mood of the album is filled with more solemn and jazz beats than its predecessor. Reason does have a very intricate flow. I think more often than not, he gets compared to the heavy hitters on his label, which I don't think is really a fair analysis. But I mean, he's on TDE, so it's like you really got to come with it or you don't. But people should look into what this album is great and how it stands on its own. I will say that the first half of the album admittedly has a few hits and a few misses. If I'm going over the list, like Showstop with hidden vocals from Kendrick and Pop Shit with Q are some decent bops, where Stories I Forgot and Favorite Nigga, absolute misses. I Can Make It is kind of one of those mid tracks where Rhapsody actually makes the song a little better. And then where the album picks up, is right at the song Fall, which has reason, like diving deep into what makes an artist genuine, be it from the perspective of a woman who wants to succeed without succumbing to making herself sexual, or from the perspective of a male artist who is pressured into having the gangster persona. Where the album truly shines is the other features, like Vince Staples comes through with Sauce, Solo once again makes us pick our brain on Flick It Up, and Isaiah Rashad and Jid come with Extinct. I think Extinct is like the one standout track on this album. And then the album comes with some self-reflecting, because he wants to be sure that his signing to TDE is the start of a new beginning, despite the gossip from his family in Gossip and his own self-doubt in Windows Cry. It's a solid album. I've gone in the middle and said about a B. I didn't think that this album was, anything spectacular, but it was still a good output. Does anybody else disagree? So we're kind of levering on that, like that B minus C range.
Yeah, I go B minus C. Okay,
let's got to calculate these grades here, because I am giving this one, and I gave it an 83, which is like a borderline B. Leak, you said like B minus, C range. So like,
if I had to score it, I'd probably give it like a 79.
79, okay.
I'm going with like a 74 for me.
Oh, okay.
Damn.
I said a C. I said a solid C.
Solid
so
C.
Like
okay.
It's like a 75, 74.
Just like a 78 and a half.
78. All right, well, we about to see in a minute, since it's only us three. right at 79. So it's going to fall into the C category here. But I mean, it is what it is. Now, I thought I had this picture saved on this, because when I last looked, it was, but maybe I have to save it and then just come back and add the picture. So what I need somebody to do is just mark it down that New Beginnings is a 79, so that way I can go and add it back. Let me just make sure that this is saved. I'm not trying to download here. I just want to be sure that this is saved.
It's one artist for sure that's on here. I know I'm gonna get slandered for it because I do not like him.
Who is it?
You'll find out when we get to it.
Okay.
You said New Beginnings was a C, 79.
Yeah. That's where it fell in. So we'll hit save. Not gonna download the image just yet, because we definitely have to be sure that I got all the pictures updated. All right, let's go back. Let me make sure that all the pictures are added. In the meantime, we're going to really quickly. He has a EP that dropped in 2021. It's called No More, No Less, Demo 1. A quick 3-song EP. I don't think it's anything special. I would put it behind Peer Pressure. That's just me. Does anybody have any disagreements with that?
This is Reason?
Yeah, it's Reason.
I didn't even know he had an EP.
Yeah, he had like a very, very quick EP. But I just didn't think it was anything special. It was like, okay, you just kind of put it out there. That's why I said
I haven't listened to it, but I see the features and I'm like, dang. I see Isaiah Rashad, I see Wale on there.
Yeah, like the let me see if I can remember, because it was really like when I listened, I guess I was expecting more, and I didn't get that from him. So it's just really, really, I don't know.
Wait, the other track got Benny the Butcher on it too?
That was the one that I thought was really good.
Hold
on, man. You might have to circle back to this one.
Okay.
How do you think you're like? I'm looking at the features, like, dang, like it's not good with these features.
Right.
Like Isaiah Rashad, Wale, Isaiah Rashad again.
Yeah, 12 a.m. and ATL was really good to me.
It's always at 12 a.m. and ATL. It's always the numbers, the times.
I think maybe it's because like even with Isaiah Rashad on Left Hand wasn't that special to me. But I'll circle back around to it. We'll check it out in just a moment. Let me just make sure that the tier is updated. So that way we can
That's late.
come back to that because I definitely want to make sure that this is updated here. So while we talk about that, or before we circle back to No More No Less, we have to go to the next newest artist, which would be Zakari. Now, did anybody?
Zakari?
Yeah,
Did
Zakari
we
would.
skip over Lance? In Zakari?
No, we're coming to Lance. We're coming to Lance. He's gonna be after Zakari.
Okay.
I'm about to say I'm going based off of the original list you gave us. So it would have been Rayvon, Reason, Lance, Zakari, and then Sir. But
yeah, so
I got you.
Well, we'll come back to that in just a moment here. Let me just make sure that this thing has been updated. I think this is mine. Dang, I can't pull up. But anyway, Zakari's first project was a Run Wild, Run Free with TDE. I don't really know what this is classified, whether it's an EP or an album went out, but it has 7 tracks on it, or 8. So it deserves at least a discussion. Any thoughts?
I would say we can place that project as an album, because usually once it hits like 8, that 8 number, it's starting to hit an album. Or we can consider it a LP instead of an EP, which is just more of a longer version of a EP.
Yeah. Yeah, I think with his second one, Soul, we'll probably get into the EP category because that's only 4. But I think we can at least talk about Run Wild, Run Free. Do we have any thoughts about the project in general?
All right. So not to cut anybody off, they want to go?
Go for it.
All right. So I was like, it gives the aspect of recovering from heartbreak, or some form of a long endured battle in which one would lose itself, promoting the ideal of self-healing, self-love, and healing just in general, living out life to the fullest and having no regrets for it, and not letting anybody's opinions other than yourself matter. Like, I felt like a lot of the content that was in that album was more so just like, understand me, but I don't care what you think from me showing you who I am.
Okay. Any other thoughts?
I thought it was a very decent project. Is it something that I would listen to on multiple occasions? Probably not, but I will definitely rate this as a decent project. So I would probably give this like a solid C. C plus.
Okay.
Yeah.
To be honest, I never knew who this guy was. But when I heard the album, I recognized the voice. And then when I realized that he was on a lot of the features I really enjoyed, especially from the Black Panther project and like Damn from Kendrick Lamar. And then when I listened to his album, it was very solemn and kind of depressing a little bit. But it still was decent enough for me to get through it. But I realized that he's better off on features as opposed to actually doing a product, because the way that he did his project wasn't anything to really memorable, wasn't anything that was special. It wasn't like something that I can really go back to. But his voice is pretty nice to melodic. He does have, he can hit those notes, and he definitely he has potential to be a good song, not song, I guess singer, in terms of how he does his projects. But he needs to do better, his subject matter, what he's talking about, because it can take away from it, because what he's singing about, and then with the voice that he has, it just wasn't connecting for me.
I definitely would agree with that, because just there's a couple features that he's been on that he just snaps on.
Yeah, he
especially one feature that he did with Schoolboy Q. I think he was on one of his projects.
Yeah, He's on a lot of projects, and I realized that he's really good at doing features. Like he does good with ad-libs and just being like, melodic, tone to the actual song to complement the actual verses. But him on his own project alone, just hearing him just doing the same thing like for 7 songs, just like, okay,
it's really just more kind of like a chill out. I feel like that project is more like just like a chill out, kind of just like relaxed type ordeal.
And you can definitely vibe out to get high and get very lost with it, but I probably wouldn't go back to it.
It's exactly what you said, something that you would get high to. That's what I heard when I listened to this. I don't even smoke, mind you, but this is literally like something that I would just, if I want to relax, if it's a night drive or something like that, this is something I would play, but I probably wouldn't listen to it outside of that. Like, it's very situational. I mean, it sounds good to your ear, like the instrumentations, his voice, how he harmonizes, the melodies. But outside of that, like, I wouldn't listen to it outside of just wanting to set a certain mood. And like that's not to say it was bad, but I'm not sure I would play it again. It's probably be a low to mid C for me.
I'll probably give Fenton like C minus for me.
Okay. Let me go ahead and bring up my thoughts on this particular project. It seems, as y'all said, that the album is kind of meh to me. The one thing that I was a little concerned about was because like Zakari himself, like he is very good melodically. He can harmonize, and some of the features that he was on, whether it was with Q, whether it's with Kendrick, whether it's with Zay, he has like really shown his range. But on this album, he doesn't. It's like he's just very chill, and he's not captivating enough for me to revisit the project. It's an okay body of work, but it just seems that as far as major projects go, this just wasn't my cup of tea. Now, I know that maybe it's just because the state of R&B is a little bit different now, and I might be old, but I just, something about this album, it's like I don't know if I would revisit it unless, as Leek said, I would be on a night drive. So this is probably going to be like a C minus or D for me.
Can't argue with that.
Yeah. Okay. Do we have like any disagreements? We just got to figure out exactly where it is placed.
I guess it's gonna come down to the numbers.
Yeah. All right. So with
we've
that,
gotten everything from C to B. So
okay,
I'd say it's probably like a 79, 80.
Okay. So we've got that. Let me make sure that I got everything up to date again, because this is crazy how my thing is not pulling up the other two that I had. But okay, so Law, you said 79. What's Nasa, what's your grade?
I give it a 75.
Okay. So we got 79 and 75. Leak?
74.
Rome?
72.
Actually,
sorry, make it 75.
You said 75?
Yeah, change 75. Cause I just think about, like, I do like his voice. He has a good voice. He's just not good at making progress.
I guess I'll be nice. I guess I'm gonna be nice. I'm gonna give it a 70. And then we'll divide that by 5. Like 74.6. All right, Law, if you could write that down.
For Zakari, you said 74.
So yeah, 74.6. So it'll go into the C category here. I wonder why I did not, because I know I had them all downloaded, so I wonder why I didn't do that for me. All right. So that brings us to his EP Soul. I had a quick thought on Soul. I thought that the album concept was a little better than Run Wild, Run Free. It's just a shame that we only got 4. So granted, he doesn't really again show the range that I know Zakari can hit, but I took it as a grain of salt. I'm like, I have to admit that this is just an EP, so I just have to remember that. So with that, I had said Soul would probably be like in front of Peer Pressure. And we have to come back to No More No Less, obviously, for reason, but I definitely had put Soul in front of Peer Pressure on the EP list. Did anybody else have any thoughts on it?
I would agree.
I actually fucked with this EP.
Okay.
I was gonna say,
Maybe not the first two songs, but definitely the last two songs was on my little playlist. Like,
Bet.
I
Okay.
did a little breakdown of each song. If y'all care to hear it.
Yeah. By all means, man.
So I was like, so you know, soul is Spanish for the sun, which is necessary requirement for a flower to blossom, which he names one of the tracks in the EP. Flowers grow and blossom from season to season. He uses this imagery to depict that. He also uses a butterfly, which we know starts from a caterpillar image. It's breaking out of your cocoon to emerge as your true self. This embodiment is shown through both his lyricism and the main ideal, and being shown and being main ideal of being and showing your true unadulterated self. So like those 4 tracks, like he used them kind of as a play on each other, in my opinion.
Okay.
I actually don't remember this track. I remember I listened to it, but nothing really can come out to mind. Like I remember it being pretty smooth and chill, and like I can vibe to it. Like I said, as a night driver would say, but nothing's really like stood out to me on this project. Aside from his usual, like his voice switching the notes, like kept to like his usual tones, but So I would agree with what you say. Put it behind Peer Pressure or in front of it.
I say like in front of Peer Pressure, just because I thought that it's a nice little 4 track EP. It's not the best because again I know that he has I think he can obviously use his range, but just the concept of the album itself really interested me. And it kept me at least focused on those 4 tracks that I did actually go back and just listen to it one more time just to be sure that, I enjoyed what I was listening to. So that's kind of where I put it. And
yeah, I would agree with that. I'll put it there.
Okay. Sounds good. So now I just have to figure out why the heck this thing ain't working the way I want it to. Okay. Well, while we do that, I am going to I might just have to edit this on my phone since for whatever reason the computer does not want to bring up the pictures that I had for this album, and I don't know why. But either way, trying to find a way to edit it, but it's all good. It seems like every time we do one of these, something always goes wrong. But anyway, that leaves us to so far what we got covered here is that There You Have It is at an A. We have New Beginnings as a C. And No More No Less we'll have to come back to. For Ray Vaughn, we have Peer Pressure. And then for Zakari, of course, Soul is in front of Peer Pressure. And then we have Run Wild, Run Free as a C. Now that brings us to Lance Skywalker. And the first project that he dropped on TDE was Introverted Intuition. I want to hear what you guys' thoughts are about Lance.
I ain't gonna lie. I was like in the opening, I had trouble following his vision, although the production of the tracks were reminiscent of like Andre 3000. And that's kind of a stretch, but like I think y'all can follow where I was coming from. But like as I continued, it became kind of clear the picture that he was painting. But yeah, like those first 2-3 tracks, it just felt like everything was all over the place.
Mm-hmm. Anybody else?
So it was hard to get into.
Okay.
Like he said, the beginning, I was kind of like, what's happening here? It got better, but I'm one of those people that if you lose me early, it's hard to bring me back.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it was solid, but I was so lost at the beginning that it kind of took away from the entirety of the project. It was, I don't know. I have mixed feelings about it because it's not bad, but it also didn't move me either. I was kind of trying to figure out what was going on for like a lot of it, but it sounded good, but I was still kind of confused.
You're not wrong. Anybody else?
Yeah, so I like him. He was a bit unorthodox, a bit unconventional, if you could say, but I liked his jazz notes. It felt like it was like one of those like classic. Well, not like officially, but like the way that he made his because made his like set up like he did his actual composition of his tracks. Like it sounded like it was like one of those like scat like type of jazz bands who were just they were all over the place. Like they were just like, you know, you have the drums over here, then you have the saxophone here, it's all over the place. Like it's a lot of instrumentation, but it doesn't really combine well, but it combines at the same time. And I think that's what he was trying to go for if he was trying to do that. But and I can see his vision, but it was okay. It wasn't like, you know, anything noteworthy, but he did what he wanted to do, and that's what he did, and it was all right. So I think I'll give it probably like a C.
Interesting. That's actually a very interesting perspective. Because I, did not consider, those elements, as you said, we're talking about jazz elements of how sometimes jazz can be all over the place, but then when you understand the entire body of work, you'll have a better appreciation for it. So I definitely get that, and I appreciate that perspective. Nasa.
If we're gonna be honest, I think his catalog is probably like my least favorite. It's not that on a musical standpoint that like it was bad, because I mean, he did have some, really nice beats to it, but if you kept like like you said, if the start of your album or the start of the project doesn't hit, I'm probably not going to listen to the rest of it. And that's kind of what happened. So it's just not like, it really wasn't something that it didn't grasp my attention, especially because I listened to this while I was like in the gym. So I'm hoping that like I was going to have like some hype moments and stuff like that, but I just didn't catch that. I didn't catch that. I mean, he's still a talented artist, but I don't feel like the catalog of which he has is like really like breathtaking. So
Okay. I agree, at least with the masses. I think Rome and Law might have like the different opinions, but in from my opinion, I think what Lance was trying to attempt was a body of work that established the mind of an introvert, but it plays more as a body of work from the mind of someone with ADHD. I'm just being real. As someone who kind of considers himself an introvert at times, it's like, okay, this is kind of all over the place.
I'm an introvert. I'm pretty more of an introvert out of all y'all, and my attention span is not that short.
Yeah.
I mean, but all right. Well, I think it was more so geared towards the ADHD part, because it's just like, God, like you go from, and I'm gonna just give an example. You go from washing your dishes to folding laundry to cleaning up your room to vacuuming. Like it was literally like one thing after the next, and then it was just like, okay, I took my medicine. I'm kind of getting my focus back, but it's still like, I'm focused. Got to do this. Focus. Like it legit was hard to actually determine what it was that he wanted out of that opening like 5 tracks.
Yeah, Yeah, very, very much so. And I would say like I kind of like his genre as he blends a lot of alternate and psychedelic R&B. It just the execution of the album and what it was trying to get across was just kind of piss poor. The only songs here that like really caught my attention were Forbidden Fruit and Lover's Lane. Outside of that, it just doesn't hold well up for me, and I just don't think it's a very good intro album for somebody who's considered a new artist back in 2016. Like it just wasn't a very good debut album to me personally. So I guess we got to give a grade for this thing here. What is everybody thinking?
I'm giving him 70.
I'm gonna go. I'm trying not to be rude.
Hey, not bro. If you gotta be rude, man.
I'll probably give it like a 67.
Okay.
I mean, you were good. I mean, 69. I mean, better than me. I gave it a 69. That's close. I gave him grace.
Look, y'all both was like, I think I was more polite out of all of you. I was like 70. You know what I'm saying? I ain't trying to get nobody up. That's 60.
Damn, damn.
I was just giving him a 70
right
just
there.
because of the jazz notes elements that he had. Like I could appreciate that, but it just wasn't. Yeah.
Yeah.
He got a 70 off production.
Okay. Dang, man, I must be the only one that might just say, you know what? Nah, I'm not gonna hold my filter with this one. I gave it a 59.
Ooh.
You gave it a below. You gave it an F.
Damn.
I gave it an F.
You gave it an F. Wow.
Might be an A701 take, but I mean that's just kind of what I give. But I think with everybody giving it the grade, it does get a 67. So it's not an F, but it is a dud. So
hey, that 59 took that point as
Man.
down. Like so, the plane was stalling, and the 59 just said,
it didn't fail. It didn't fail, but I guess
it was close enough.
Right. So, Law, if you could go ahead and write that down.
I don't even want to put that on wax. Now you said a 67 though?
67 was the final score.
Oh, man.
All right, so now that leaves his EPs that he had, which is Tales from the Telescope Chapter 1, Rebirth, and Tales from the Telescope Chapter 2, which I believe, what's that, Internal Shine?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. If you put them together, it's actually not that bad, but obviously we got to split them apart because they're two separate EPs. I will say that Tales from the Telescope Chapter 1 was meh, in my opinion. But that's just me.
Like it was like a play at neo soul with like a little bit of lyricism, some ad libs to like keep it up, like or upbeat rather, upbeat, lighthearted.
Yeah. I think I enjoyed these two projects more than I did Introverted Intuition. I will say that much.
Barely.
And I enjoyed the second one more than I did the first one.
That's a fact.
So I'd said that if I'm not mistaken, I had given Chapter 1 did I give it a D or yeah, I given it like a D plus. So I said 69. Or if I'm gonna give it a C minus, it would be a 70. So it'd be right around there. It might be a little harsh. I don't know, but was anybody giving it different?
Chapter 1 to get at least a 75.
Okay.
And that's me being nice.
Yeah, I could be nice with this one. Like I said, I'll give it a 70. So I'll keep it in the C minus range.
I mean, but if we're talking Chapter 1 versus Introverted Intuition, it's at least 5 points better.
Yeah.
At least. at least 5 points, and we ranked it at a 67.
Well, if we're using that logic, then maybe I have to up my scores for these two. Yeah.
I mean,
I still give it at least a 73. I'll give it a 73 for the.
So that's right there. That's 2 points. Like,
I'll give it a 7
plus.
But that introverted, that shit was all over the place, and I cannot. That shit was all over the place. I cannot.
Hey, I'm with it. Okay. So with that, we got to put it on the EP counter, and I'm still trying to get this thing situated for the discography tier list. So y'all bear with me. Where would we place chapter 1? Are we putting it behind Peer Pressure? Is it worse than Peer Pressure? Say again.
I think it's better than Peer Pressure.
Oh, it's better than Peer Pressure. Okay. What about everybody else?
I'll put it behind Peer Pressure.
I would say behind.
I'm gonna just say, based on, because we said Soul was 1, Peer Pressure was 2. It got to fall right behind Peer Pressure because chapter 2 is going between Soul and Peer Pressure.
Okay.
I say if we're gonna do it, I say we put chapter 1 behind Peer Pressure, but chapter 2 before Peer Pressure after Soul.
Okay.
That's literally what I just said.
Yeah. He definitely just said that. So
okay. That's not exactly what you said, though.
All right, is that the consensus? I think Leek was the only one that said different. That he said that he thought that chapter 1 was better than Peer Pressure.
Nah, I think 2 for sure is better than Peer Pressure.
Okay.
For one, I could flip a coin honestly with Peer Pressure.
I got you. So for the sake of majority, let's go ahead and say that chapter 1 is going to fall behind Peer Pressure, and then chapter 2 will definitely put it in front of Peer Pressure and behind Soul. So I think that's where the consensus lies. Okay.
Wait, so just so I'm clear on my note taking, Soul chapter 2, Peer Pressure chapter 1.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
That I guess we'll go into the next artist, which would be Sir. We've gotten through the first 4 artists of TDE, and now we're starting to climb the ranks here.
Now we are here. The good stuff.
We're getting into the good stuff.
Now we're at the good stuff.
Now, for our audience, for those who don't know, Sir actually did drop an album before he joined TDE. If you haven't listened to it, I definitely recommend that you do. Anything that Sir has dropped has been pretty decent, if nothing else. Like all of the work that I've listened to has been really good. But if you have not listened to 7 Sundays, at least go and check it out. I guarantee you'll enjoy it.
Pretty good.
But we definitely have to cover the ones that were dropped under TDE, and the first one that we have to cover is Her. Now, Her itself, how many tracks was on this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it does fall under the EP category here that we set out. I enjoyed Her. I'm definitely putting this in front of Soul. That's just me. I don't know about what anybody else thinks.
I agree. Honestly, Sir, Her and Her too, them shits bang. Like for me, they bang. Because I don't know, I guess I'm just like into the whole kind of like alternate rap singer shit. But yeah,
The Drake of it.
that part. But no, I thought her and her two was two solid ass projects.
Yeah, they definitely were.
Definitely solid.
Yeah, definitely
Especially,
going before.
I think my favorite song off of her was Queen. Keep spinning.
Yeah,
Come on,
yeah.
Queen. Listen.
I definitely had Queen up there. Shoot, I also liked Cadillac Dreams.
Oh, Cadillac Dreams was big hit. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But ain't no funny thing. Anything with Crit is like tough.
That's a fact.
Tough.
And
Yeah.
I'm like,
Do we have any
he's horrible.
differing thoughts?
Those are the only 2 EPs on here that I think I didn't get to.
Okay. Hey, it's all good, man.
But I heard, but 7 Sundays was one of his first tapes that I heard, and I love that fucking tape.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Like I've enjoyed everything by Sir. So what I'm gonna say here is, you could kind of, from me, you could kind of interchange her and her too. But they're both going in front of Soul here on the EP list. So Law, if you can update that while I still try to fix this ish. I may just.
So can we just tie her and her part 2 as a tie for first instead of having to do a whole bunch of changing?
Yeah. So we could put those two together. Well, I try to figure out what the heck is going on with this shit and why it did not capture the. It just didn't capture a lot of stuff on here, but either way, I'll figure it out. I may just have to delete and try again. While we are talking about that, let us go ahead and jump right into November by Sir. What is everybody's thoughts?
My favorite project has to be. He did his shit on this project.
Okay.
At least I got the whole project is like 11 songs. Probably like a good portion of that album. I was just rocking with. Like he really in his bag with that one.
I was gonna say I wrote a little commentary to it. So from start to finish, I took in. I was like, the love is established, or so we think. Sir tells the perspective of how good and bad things have now gotten. Expressing how now it's easier to escape than hang out to avoid the quarrels due to lack of trust and communication. I think that's what I was trying to say. Not realizing that it's only causing a bigger rift. To allow someone else to now capture the attention of his love, he also depicts going into space as a means of checking out due to the total swing on his mind. So like y'all said, like November was, I don't want to say it was dark, but like that shit was dark.
It was dark and lovely.
It was dark.
Yes.
Dark and lovely. I can dig that because it was a whole vibe.
It was the whole space aspect of him traveling through space. I love that part of the whole album because it made me feel like I was traveling with him. Like I was taking a trip with him, going through his mental capacity, going through his feelings, thinking about what he's going through in the whole relationship. And I'm like, yeah, I'm here with you. I'm vibing with you. I'm smoking this spliff with you, and we're taking this flight through space. And it definitely is one of my favorite Sir albums. And yeah, I'm definitely giving this an A+.
Okay.
For sure. But it also made me think on like the space aspect, you know what I'm saying? Gray matter, you can get lost in your mind. Like, so like it was so many like levels to this as I was like listening and thinking on it. I was just like, he did something here. He's on to something.
You knew what he was doing. We was traveling with him.
What would and let me I do gotta ask y'all, what would you guys say would be your favorite song off that project?
Dreaming of Me.
For me.
Mine is Dreaming of Me.
Dreaming of You.
I love Summer and
Love
November.
that song.
Summer and November is just a whole vibe for me. I don't know if it's called related to November, but that shit just it was fire, man.
I don't know.
I can sing that shit on regular.
It's I'm torn between The Evils and War.
Oh, okay.
Devils and War.
Law, we're here because those are my two favorites. Those are my two favorites.
Like, hold on. Wait, what?
He really snapped on these. He really
No.
live slow.
Not ready. Stop. It's not. All right. That intro alone. What? I was like, yeah. hoodie bag season. Let's go. Like what? But yeah. Nah.
I also like something new with Edabon, and I feel like that girl slept on. Okay, because she be really in her bag. But between the Evils and War, it's perfect.
Okay,
Perfect.
okay. Let me get into my bag real quick. Let me see. Where is Sir? Now that's my
shit right there.
that is my shit.
That's the shit right there.
You can't tell me this is so not a bop, bro.
Okay.
Imagine you take it back to whatever your favorite summer was. Mm-hmm. This song comes on late night,
Junior
vibing.
What? Junior Reed, man. What I liked the most about it was the Junior Reed sample.
Hey, like you are vibing, literally. What?
All right. So here's my thoughts on November. I said pretty much what Rome was saying. Like November takes us on a musical journey with Sir and the assistant K, playing out as a journey through time and space. Along our journey, Sir does an excellent job of establishing mood music as opposed to traditional love songs. However, the jazz and blues blend Sir stays with the classic roots of R&B. Throughout Sir's songs, we get a journey of arrogance mixed in with excuses for not wanting to be in love, something that serves as the antithesis of her EPs. Of course, you got Something Foreign, War, and Never Home, which is actually a cool spoken word piece, are examples of this. However, throughout the album, we see Sir's moods start to change, and he stops making excuses and admits his faults in Better and Summer in November. Overall, Sir blends contemporary sounds with traditional R&B grooves. Track highlights for me are War, Something New, Never Home, Something Foreign, and of course, The Evils. And I gave it an A. Leek, did you have any thoughts on this? Because I don't think we heard from you.
So this is my second favorite Sir project. Personally, I still think 7 Sundays is better than this. Might be just me, but this project is a vibe. That's the only way I can put it. It's a vibe. There's nothing wrong with it. It sounds good. The tones is good. His voice is good. But I think the reason why I can't put it at an A and I put it at a B plus is because I still think 7 Sundays is just better. It's better than this.
Then that's the case.
Really you make 7 Sundays an S and you give November an A. Because in my opinion, November was an A plus.
I give November an A plus.
That's what I'm saying. Give 7 Sundays an S, and you know what I'm saying. Make November an A.
I mean, saying on the list, so why you even?
That's fair.
Yeah, I was gonna say remember.
But I heard 7 Sundays before I listened to anything else from him. That's what made me become a fan. So like everything after that, I end up comparing to it unintentionally. So it's like I know what's here. This is I just don't have it on the same level. But Law makes a very good argument. Maybe 7 Sundays is an S. Maybe this is an A. I'm not mad at that actually.
And so look, I'm gonna put it down here for me to go back and listen to because I don't want to be biased. So I'm gonna put 7 Sundays up here, and we're gonna spin that block back. But I also was looking at it from big picture ticket. Like if we're taking her two, and then in November, like it's literally the ideal of courting. You know what I'm saying? Her was more so about, hey, I see you from afar, like da da da. Her two was like, all right, bet I got the number. We kind of getting into a situation thing. November was just like, damn. What I kind of got myself into, but I want to fight for it, but I'm kind of not there. And then, you got Chasing Summer after that, which is just like, damn, well, it's open season again.
Hey, that's every argument that I've heard has been pretty good. So I guess we've come to the consensus that this is going to fall into the A category. Now we have There You Have It obviously at A, so we just have to figure out, is November better than There You Have It? If it's not
They so
consensus, then of course we
different.
get- yeah,
Yeah.
it is different. So maybe we just have to like go by points and find out, where it does end up. So give me 1 second here. Let me just make sure that my tier list did actually capture every album that I initially had. Okay, I think we're starting to get somewhere now because I actually had to redo it. So let us go back before we actually do take grades, and let's find out where we stand. All right, I think we got everything now. I'm hoping that this is it. So while we're on the subject, we said There You Have It. Well, hold on, let me put Peer Pressure first. Peer Pressure is the EP category. And I'm actually going to share the screen in a moment. So let me just go ahead and share. I think we're back at it now. All right. So we got There You Have It. Where is that thing at? Here we go. Up. And then we did One Wild, Run Free. Let's see. Had this one at Dud. All right. There we had, where is there? Her two. Okay. I think we got caught up here to everybody. All right, so November, I guess we just got to do we just got to give it a grade and see where it falls. So Nasa, what's your grade for November?
Has to be an A+. Has to.
So 98, 99, 97?
98. No, we'll
98?
make it 98, yeah.
If you have to give a grade, Leak, what would it be?
I go 93.
Wow.
Law?
That's at least a 99. At least
Okay.
a 99.
Rome?
Yeah, it's a 98 for me.
Okay, just
That
based on
brings it
everybody's
down.
score, it's obviously going to be higher than There You Have It.
It's like a 96.
Yeah, because I think that I don't even have to do the math for this one, only because I knew that There You Have It was at a 90. So there we go. All right, so we've graded that one. Now let's get to Chasing Summer. What's everybody's thoughts?
I loved it.
Loved it. I did.
Yeah,
I did.
like
Like I said,
it has so many bangers on this one song, from like John Redcorn to Hear It Down. I was just like,
What?
damn, bro, like, what was you doing? Like, you was just going in, like, and then with the feature with Jill Scott, Still Blue, that one
That was a bop. Okay, he put the queen on the track. Okay,
I had to just keep replaying it, like, yo, this shit is still a vibe. Like, he just comes so soft and melodic, and then just this definitely was a favorite.
LA Lisa, what?
Can we talk about mood with Zakari?
Hey, but that's what we said earlier. The feature from Zakari, phenomenal. But
yeah.
the actual project, Keep working, brother.
Yeah,
He's a good
he's gonna
feature
get there.
artist.
He is good. And again, he goes back to the Japanese elements, which I love what he keeps doing. He keeps like, adding those elements to his projects, like, with mood, like he has like the people speaking extra Japanese. I'm like, okay, I can fuck with it. I can definitely vibe with it. So Sir's definitely become a favorite for me from TDE.
He had Wayne on this album. What?
Mhm.
That don't do nothing for me.
What?
Wait, what?
Uh-oh, A701 take. Let's go.
Sorry, what?
What's going on, man? What's your thoughts?
I mean, I'm just speaking to that. So having Wayne on the album literally does nothing for me. I don't fuck with Wayne. But
Wayne.
Well.
I've outgrown Wayne a long time ago.
Okay. Okay, what album did you outgrow?
I stopped. The last Wayne I respected was No Ceilings. After that, you could throw everything away.
Yeah, like 5 no ceilings. Got a lot of no ceilings.
Speaking of no ceilings, just as a reminder,
I'm about to have a heart attack over here.
But Law's just like, damn, son. So what are your thoughts on the project itself, Lee?
Now, the project itself, outside of the Wayne part, I think the features were phenomenal. Sonically, it was phenomenal. There was a lot of vibes. My favorite song is either LA Lisa or The Recipe. The rest.
He had to put the big dog Samino on it.
The
He had
rest-
to put the big dog.
That's what I was
Yeah,
saying.
a lot of people don't know about Smino. A lot of people don't know about Smino.
Smino to go.
Let's go.
A lot of people don't know about Smino. Most casual listeners of the genre don't really know about Smino.
Oh, that
You gotta really be in the genre to know about Smino.
Can I just say Smino T-Pain feature is the best thing that ever happened?
I'm gonna be yes. I will agree on, but I'm gonna be wholesome with the I'm gonna just stop right there because I'm wholesome. But for those that know, you know. What? Smino's that. Well, what?
Smino's that guy. Smino's that guy. He's really spitting. Like his flow is stupid. Like his flow is really crazy. Like if you really pay attention to that dude, like metaphors, all that, he be adding it. Okay.
So just to get off topic real quick, as far as Smino goes, I remember when Control for SZA first dropped and she was on tour and had Smino and Raven Lene with her. And I was like, okay, I'm going for SZA, but at the same time, I'm really going for Smino because of course, I listened to Black Jupiter and I listened to Black Swan like beforehand.
Black Swan was my project, okay? When he dropped Black Swan, I was like, bro, you were in your bag.
So I'm at the National at Richmond and I'm sitting here singing all the Smino songs, and the people around me like, dang, you know this dude? I'm like, yeah, you don't.
You don't? Right.
And while everybody else was singing the SZA songs, and oddly enough, I'll admit I was singing SZA too, but I was definitely vibing with Smino the entire time for his entire set. So I just had to throw that out there. But back on the subject of Chasing Summer, Leek, did you have like a grade that you wanted to give it?
I don't know if I think it's better than the previous one, but I'd probably give it a 90.
Okay, that's fair. What is everybody else? And I'll give my grade afterwards.
For sure, at least a 93, 94.
Okay.
Sure.
I'm giving him a 95.
I'll give it a 93. Give it a 93.
So I'm gonna give it a 90. And it's
what?
92.
That made it seem like I was tripping. He gave it the same score I gave it. Slander him too.
I'm gonna give it a 90. So
that shocked me. That put a shock in my face.
So like just here's my thoughts because I don't think it was better than November, but I still vibed with it. Chasing Summer is rooted in Serve, staying in LA and chasing after those temptations of lust and debauchery. If this album is nothing else, it provides a darker turn and tone from his previous album. Hair Down is the perfect example of riding in LA and flirting with all the different women he sees. John Redcorn, which is my personal favorite, is told from the perspective of John Redcorn from King of the Hill. You Can't Save Me and That's Why You Love Me are other examples of Sir playing the infidelity game and courting bad habits. A few highlights of mine include New Sky with Katja Bonet, Still Blue with Jill Scott, and The Recipe. Despite those highlights, a few of the tracks don't move me the way that the last one did. I will say Zakari's feature, while again, he does better on his features, that one was probably my least favorite feature of his. The track with Lil Wayne was just there, in my opinion. So I do have to agree with Leak on that one. And the ending is not as solid as the previous album, but the album is still good. And so with that, after my grade of a 90, it does fall into 92.2. So it is behind November and in front of There You Have It.
Y'all killing me, man.
That made it seem like I was the outlier. He got
I'm with you on that one, Leak. I'm with you on that one. I had to be honest.
Y'all are gonna be those professors when all you need is 3 points to get your A. They were like, can't do it. I don't get extra points. Y'all
come in to get some extra credit. Come get some extra credit from your boy. Come get some extra credit from your boy.
Come on, man.
Hey, it's still an A, yo.
It's still an A.
But we talking about. I'm talking about the stain. Like, you got to think about some of these artists, though, and I get it. Least established artists aren't gonna be able to afford the features, but like, you had Jill Scott, Lil Wayne, and then up and coming artists that also have a good following behind. That's at least a 93, 94 in the grading scale. But y'all just went off about Smino. So like
90.
Hey, if I don't get nobody else
understand.
on my side for this take.
Ron, what were you about to say?
I can understand where he's going. The features was fire and phenomenal. I don't understand why.
Except Wayne.
So low. Is it really just Wayne the reason why you don't rank it any higher?
First of all, I don't want to see Wayne on nobody project.
Okay, so we can just cut it right there.
So it seems like it's personal bias.
But aside from that, this is not better than November.
I agree with that.
I gave November a 93. What more do you want from me?
To give Chasing Summer a 93.
Hey, you know what? I'm gonna clip this one. This is going on the Instagram profile, yo. But anyway, I'm gonna have so many clips from this daggone show. All right, y'all. So moving away from Sir, we've had two artists who kind of joined TDE at the same time. So with that, we're going to go into rap first, and then we'll get into R&B just to kind of change it up a little bit. So let's talk about Zay.
Come on.
So with that, let us start with his first release on TDE, Sylvia Demo.
Okay, I think.
Hey.
You want to go first, Lee?
You got it. Nah, you got it. You got it.
Okay, so to be honest, I don't. Sylvia or his first project, was a good, very good introduction, but it's not my favorite project. I would still give it a high grade. But it's not one of my favorites. I think his next two projects I feel like with each project, he just went up. Like usually sometimes like when people drop their first project, that's like their best one. And then they following albums or they following projects kind of decrease. But with him, it was like the opposite. Like it just went up. So I would still give this a solid B plus. I think it's a B plus for me, more so on the B plus side. But it just wasn't my favorite, but he still has some serious bops on his project. Still has some serious bops on that shit.
Okay. Who's next? Who wants to talk about it?
Yeah, I'm giving this a A
Rome, you
plus.
say A?
Yeah, I'm giving it A plus if anything. I like Isaiah Rashad. I fuck with his flow. I enjoy his lyricism. I definitely think this project was out of his 3 projects. This is probably the second.
Okay. Okay. Law, do you have any thoughts?
Yeah, we swinging this motherfucker with a 93 out the
Okay.
gate.
Okay.
93 on the dot.
Out the gate.
He said
Out
out
the
the gate. Okay. All right. League, I know that you said that this one was an A.
No, I didn't say that.
Oh.
I didn't say that.
Oh, okay.
I'm tripped because this might be my favorite Zay project. Honestly, there may be 3 songs on this whole project that I skip. I think this is like from start to finish. This is like one of his best pieces of work for me. Like, and I feel the complete opposite of what Nasa said. I think it got worse as he kept going. Not by a lot, but I still think this is the best project. I couldn't give this anything lower than like a 95. And that's like lowballing it. That's like lowballing it.
Okay.
Hey, I'm sending you my my medical bill for this heart attack.
Heart attack right now.
Hey, look at me. It's only gonna get worse.
All right, well, let's brace ourselves.
Wait. Hold on. I just remembered something. Didn't Leak say that there was someone he was going to make us mad about, and we didn't even get it? Wait,
we're not even there yet.
Oh,
I feel like it's Schoolboy Q.
Yo, if it's Q, I'm gonna be very upset.
We'll talk about it.
We'll get there.
If we're getting these takes off of the likes of Isaiah, yeah.
Well, let me go ahead and give my my breakdown real quick. I just said it's not often you hear a blend of hip hop styles and creativity. Zay gives us a hip hop album that is so different but so refreshing from the norm. The album blends trip hop, jazz, and alternative sounds to create what I believe is a very slept on album. There are some tracks that I could possibly skip, like Banana and Modest, but that doesn't mean that they aren't really good tracks. What this album does is deep dive into Zay's growing pains and includes substance abuse, fatherhood, from his father's perspective and from his, and police brutality. I also should mention the progressive beats and the blending of Southern beats and the other music genres is just done so well. Tracks that really stand out to me are Shot You Down, Rest in Peace Kevin Miller, Brad Jordan, Ronnie Drake, Menthol, and Heavenly Father. Overall, Sylvia Demo is a great album and a great debut for the Chattanooga artists, and I hope if people haven't listened to it, they will. I'm gonna say 94. I'm gonna be right in the middle. So let's add up. So Law said 93, I said 94, Leak said 95. Give me 1 second. Rome, what was your grade?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with 95.
95. And Nasa, what was yours? I know you said like B plus, A minus range. What's your?
I'll give it a 93. That's about like an A minus.
Oh, okay.
A minus.
That'll work.
Like I really do feel like this was a very solid project, a very good introduction project to him.
All right. 94 is the grade. So that's gonna put it right behind November. All right.
Which brings us summer. Just I don't know. Seeing it before Chasing Summer just doesn't sit right with me, but we can move on.
Okay.
That's what the grades are, man. That's what the grades are. But anyway, that brings.
We need to have a final debate.
We'll see. We'll see. That brings us to the Sun's Tirade. Now, I'll go first. Whereas Sevilla Demo is actually my second favorite Zay project, Sun's Tirade is my first. And I thought I would at least talk about this a little more. This album adds more elements of jazz and jazz fusion, trip hop, Southern hip hop, and blends them together to create a masterpiece, in my opinion. Sun's Tirade also gives us a flow change for Zay when he talks on certain subject matter. He adds more low registered and inaudible vocals for songs dealing with his substance abuse and bad habits like Stuck in the Mud, Teddy and Dollar, B-Day, Rope, Rose Gold, and added singing vocals for other songs dealing with internal issues like Silk the Shaka, Brenda, and Teddy and Dollar again. My favorite track, What's Wrong, adds vocals from Zakari, and this is one of my favorite features from Zakari, and a verse by Kendrick talking about Zay's stress dealing with substance abuse and how he almost got dropped by TDE because of it, as hinted in the intro of the album. This album is also littered with clips of Dave Free trying to push Zay to do right and get his act together. Overall, I just can't speak enough about the album. Whereas like Sylvia Demo talks about growing pains, Sun's Tirade is a reflection of Zay's current state of mind and how drugs, liquor, and responsibilities can alter your way of thinking and progress. So if I had to give it a grade, I'm saying A+.
I gotta agree. Sun's Tirade was my introduction to Isaiah Rashad. And of course, What's Wrong is my favorite song off that project. Absolutely,
Likewise.
because all three of them snapped. But this would have to be my first. This would be my favorite, and I definitely give it an A+. Because he was really in his bag with this one. In his bag.
It's getting like a 97 for me. I enjoyed this album. This is my number one favorite album from him. Off the song Free Lunch alone was fire. I enjoyed that song on repeat. That shit was just like
Free Lunch is bang.
You know?
Okay, Free Lunch bangs, okay?
It bangs, and the replay value is up there. Like, I enjoyed this album wholeheartedly. Like, the storytelling was there. It captivated me. It had me enthused. Like, Isaiah Rashad, his lyricism is, he can just rap his ass off and say, okay. But he doesn't do it too fast, but he keeps it nice and, melodic and still keeps it on beat. And his delivery is always on point. And, it's definitely going to be a 97 for me.
Okay. Law.
This was a subtle drop the mic album. Bangers through and through. 96 out the gate.
Okay. And we have to go to our contrarian thought here, Mr. Lee.
Contrarian thought.
I love how I'm the bad guy. But
who's the bad guy? I don't know.
Nobody tell you was the villain.
Hey.
You'd be surprised if you check the timeline. I am the villain.
He's the man behind the curtain.
I had to take my heat. For 8701. Everybody get their turn.
So, like I said, to me, Sylvia Demo is my favorite. This is number 2. And the only reason is the highs on this album, I think, are higher. But for me, the lows on this album are much lower than Sylvia Demo. That's the only reason why I don't like it as much as Sylvia Demo. I think for me, Sylvia Demo is much more consistent with the songs that I like and the vibes and the stuff that, like, I guess the tones of the album. Because there's some songs in this album that I skip every single time. And there's some songs in this album that if it plays, I'm playing at least twice every single time. It's like a huge disparity for me. And that's why overall I don't have it higher than Sylvia Demo. So if I score Sylvia Demo a 95, for me this is like a 93, 92. It's not a lot, but they're high. Like I said, the highs on this album are higher, but the consistency for me is in Sylvia Demo as opposed to this one.
Okay, so it just boiled down to consistency. So, all right, let's add these grades together and find out where the Sun's Tirade ends up. So, Rome had said 97. Nasa, what is your grade?
I give him a 9. I'll give him a 97 as well.
Okay. Leak, I'm gonna give you on the high end. I'm gonna say 93. Law had said 96. I am going to say 97 as well, which puts
right now
this album at a 96, which actually has it passing November just by a hair.
I'm not mad at it.
It's the Bob.
It's a vibe.
And then Oh man, you got to think about it. Like, what comes after that? What?
Yeah. So now
What?
we get to Zay's last album, The House is Burning, that just dropped last year in 2021.
Listen, when I tell you a man was in
the
his
regular
on some,
and the homies bag. What?
Yeah, I listened to both. But we gotta give a single grade for the entire project. So we can't grade both of them. We just have to if go off of what we've listened to, and we graded this one project here. So, Leek, I know that you said it gets worse. So let me at least hear your thoughts on The House is Burning.
I think it's more so because it didn't meet what I expected it to sound like. So it's not bad, but it didn't do anything for me. It was just an album. Like, that's it. It was just an album for me. Whereas the other two projects, there are certain songs that stir different feelings, that take you back to certain moments. And to me, this album didn't do that. Like, it was cool, but it's also not something that I'm spinning often. So for me, it was like a B+.
Okay.
that's really crazy. That's crazy as hell. That's crazy as hell. Because I thought that this shit was A1. I thought he was really in his bag. Look, I keep saying that he be in his bag, but like each time it just got better for me. Like I think that it was very cohesive. And one thing for me is that if the intro song does not hit, then then the rest of the project I'm not gonna mess with it. It was a good strong hitter on the first song, and then it just kind of just followed through with there. And I did not skip not one song on this project. I did not skip not one song, and there are a couple songs that I will literally put on repeat. But like collectively, I to be honest, for me, I give this an S. Like this was his. For me, this was his best project.
Oh,
Bam, 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 bam,
we got an
bam.
S. Okay.
I give this an S because this was literally his best project.
Interesting take. All right, let's go to Law.
I'm just gonna say, check the features,
Listen,
then listen to it. Hold on, check the features, then listen to it. Check the features again, then listen to it, and then realize that this is at least a 99, hands down.
So we got an S,
and you got all aspects
the borderline
of it.
S.
You got from trap rap in it, you know what I'm saying, to what? You literally hit every aspect in this album, whether you listen to the regular or whether you listen to the deluxe.
Like, and again, he had and snapped on that song and snapped on the song. Okay.
So we got an S and a borderline S. We got an A++. What's going on, Rome? What do you think about The House is Burning?
Upon first listening to when it first came out, I enjoyed it, but I don't know if it's because of the 5-year gap that really made it so like, okay, I've been waiting for so long, but now it's like the hype was kind of left me a little bit because I was hyped over the first two albums, but like waiting for so long and now hearing this album, it was good. And as Law said, it was all over the place, but I wasn't too mad about that, because the songs they were hitting. Like I enjoyed the little diversity. I enjoyed the trap beats. I enjoyed the jazz elements. I enjoyed the poetry and all that. It definitely made the album what it is for Isaiah. And I keep thinking like what I want to give it because I enjoyed it so much, but like I want to say it's like as classic. I want to say it's like that, but it's definitely in the A range.
Okay,
I'll probably give it like a 93.
Okay.
But that's comparing it to his old albums, and this is probably my least favorite of his albums.
Fair point.
All
right. So
I guess that everybody
answers. I guess it comes down to me. So I said the Sun's Tirade is my favorite. But this project is good. Zay has embraced the chill, laid back, low register flow, and has also brought back some interesting themes. You still get a blend of the trip hop, jazz, blues, but you also see Zay explore more with Southern hip hop blends specifically on this album. The theme of this album encapsulates Zay's experience. He ended up in poverty and in rehab during his 5-year absence and found a way to bounce back. Zay also continues his trend in naming songs after prominent Southern hip hop artists, as evident with the song Chad, rest in peace, Pimp C. Zay also uses songs like Rest in Peace Young and Lay With You as tributes to 3 6 Mafia and Project Pat based on the style. While I could play this album from end to end, what really stands out are some of the R&B blends and R&B features. Claymore with Smino is probably my favorite track on here, and it's brilliant. Score with Black and SZA also shine. Don't Shoot, What You Said, and True Story are some of my other favorite projects as well. Now, to put it against his other 2 albums, I will say that I'm probably going to say it's tied with Sylvia Demo, and it doesn't reach the expectations of the Sun's Tirade to me. But that does not necessarily mean that the album was bad. Again, it is a very, very good project. Let's go ahead, and I guess we have to grade it, obviously. Nasa, you gave it an S. So what grade is this? Because obviously it's 100 or better. So what's your grade here?
I'll give it 100.
Okay.
I'll give it a solid 100 because yeah, I did not skip this project. I did not skip not one song.
All right. Law gave it a 99. Leak, you said B plus. What's your grade, man?
88.
All right.
So sick.
I don't think it's better than anything in the A class.
You're
okay.
I'm looking at the A class. I'm not mad at that. I'm looking at the A class. I'm like, he's not wrong. He's looking at the other albums. They're better than this one, just off of like production alone and just how it was done.
what the fuck? I don't.
Okay. What are you gonna put it? What are you gonna put it before November?
I wouldn't put it before November, but I wouldn't put it before November. I would put it before Sun's Tirade. Like I do think it was it was just like it was a good up more better than Sun's Tirade. Like it was just an increase. Like
well, Rome, we still waiting on your grade
on that one.
I said 93.
93. Okay.
Yeah, 93.
All right. I think Rome, you and I are of the same opinion here. So I gave it a 93 as well. Which puts it at 94.6.
Please let me last one there. Please let me last one there.
Now at
The exact same score, right?
Say again?
Something else had the exact same score, right?
I believe Sylvia Demo had the same score. So
Oh.
how about that? It's
Interesting.
tied.
See, that's like hurting my heart. Like that's going to put me in cardiac arrest. Like
All right. So
I'm literally like low key kind of nauseous. Like the fact that it's behind Sylvia Demo. Like if anything,
it's
it could
not
be
behind.
before.
It's tied with it.
Yeah,
It's tied. Okay, well,
Yeah, it's tied.
I see it from my view. That shit is behind. That shit is behind.
Again,
I only put it
why-
behind because of alphabetical order, but other than that, it's tied.
Can I just ask a question? Why does Jason Summer keep falling behind? Why does that keep happening?
It just is what it is, man. We still got a bunch of projects that we got to get through. So that brings us now to SZA. Before we do that, we're just going to do a quick rundown for the audience. So far we have The Sun's Tirade, November, Sylvia Demo, The House is Burning, Chasing Summer, and there you have it, all in the A category. Nothing has dropped into the B category yet. For C, we have Sagari's Run Wild, Run Free. For D, for Dud, we have Lance Skywalker's Introverted Intuition. For EPs, Her and Her Two are tied for first, followed by Soul by Sakari, Tales from the Telescope 2, Internal Shine by Lance, Peer Pressure, Tales from the Telescope Chapter 1, Rebirth by Lance. And right now, No More, No Less, Demo 1 by Reason has not been graded yet. So we'll have to circle back around there and see where it falls. In the meantime, let's go to SZA and her first album with TDE, which was actually Z. We understand that SZA actually dropped 2 projects before Z, which was C, SZA Run, and S. But Z is the first album that she dropped with TDE. What is everybody's thoughts on Z?
Not my favorite. It's I probably give it a C. Like it was okay. Like I think like the only song on the project was with that I actually fucked with or messed with was with Chance the Rapper. That's like that's literally the only song that I'll listen to. Everything
Okay.
else was
I knew you was gonna say that. Nah, I mean it's a solid project. Like, I don't want to be overcritical. Like I didn't really get hip to SZA until her later albums. And I mean,
Okay.
yeah.
For me, this album was what's the word? Ethereal. You know, it transcended like, but that's just the vibe that it was giving off. Like the melodies that it was giving was very like, you know, transcendent. Like it was nice. It was soothing. But that's what, like, you know, and SZA's voice was okay, but like it didn't like it didn't stand out. So it's definitely probably like a B minus, C plus.
Okay. Lee.
Okay. It's kind of forgettable, I'd probably say. My favorite song is Babylon, but now I'm trying to think, is that because of Kendrick's verse or
the lead up? The intro was nice though. I like that.
Yeah,
intro
like
Babylon. That was,
you know, it sounds good sonically, but it's kind of forgettable, honestly. I'll probably go 75.
Okay.
I'll give it that. I'll give it that.
Sheesh. I'm the only one left out in the open because I thought that this album was good. It's not Control good, but I gotta give my thoughts here. So I just said that the album is really sonically pleasing. And it is so much different from Control because this is before SZA started rapping in her own language and started like singing like she was like just in regular conversation. She was still following a structure with this particular album. A lot of people gave her like not the same universal acclaim as Control, but if you look at some of the what the critics were saying, they said this album was still like really good when it first came out, and she got widespread acclaim for this. But that's just, you know, other people's opinions. I think the lyrics here give a more psychedelic feel along with the beat selection. We've got it's a really chill and really laid back album, and it kind of promotes an out of body experience from listeners. Songs like Hijack, Shattered Ring, and Omega are like perfect examples of this. Of course, the album has 3 features: Chance on Child's Play, Zay with Warm Winds, and of course Babylon, which is my favorite because K. Dot. But Z is completely different sound from Control, but the album to me was still incredible. It's a testament to SZA's evolution and her adapting different styles throughout her musical journey. The one thing about this album is that I can personally favor is the structure. And that's maybe just it's me. Maybe I like the structure of this album a little better than Control. That's not saying that Control is worse than Z. That's just what I preferred. But you know, before SZA started freestyling, she had to follow a simple flow with this. I had given this one an A, but I'm clearly the odd man out on this one. So I guess it just boils down to what the grades are and figure out where this is placed. So, Bleak, you had said 75. Nasa, what was your grade?
I'll give it a 75.
I'll give it a 78.
Said 78?
Yeah.
It was nice. I gave her an 85.
85. And then I gave her a 90.
So it's gonna be about a 80.
80.6. So it
Come
falls
on, with the man.
good.
I can agree with that.
I can live with that. I can live with that.
Okay. Control.
Oh man. If we're talking about never mind. Shut up, Lawrence.
I'll say this: the intro definitely got me with that guitar intro, solo guitar intro. I love that shit because I love guitars and that shit. And then the way she hammered it on into like the continuation of the song, Supermodels, and like I want to give this album a B.
Okay. We have a B.
B plus.
Leak, let's hear from you.
I think as a total album, I enjoyed it a lot better than Z. There are some songs that I'm just kind of like, oh, okay, that's cool. And then there's some songs I'm like, okay, that sounds really good. I'm not sure how well it aged with me though. I'm not sure how often I would listen to these songs. There's like maybe a few that when they come on, they don't get skipped. But yeah, I mean, and that's like the bigger songs. So that makes me feel like the album, while it was good, it doesn't have replay value. If that makes sense. So like I said, I probably give it about a 82, 83, honestly, compared to Z.
All right. So we've got our takes from Worst Generation members. Now, Law, let's hear from you.
Outside of the radio repeats, this is a solid album. That's coming from me. I don't know. I don't got no stain behind my name, but hey, I think it was pretty good. And then like her visuals that she put out with some of these songs were very captivating, to say the least. So with that being said, I'm gonna have to go with at least I gave Z a 85. This one gets at least a 87, 88.
Okay. Nasa?
I'll give this an 85. Like when the project dropped, I thought collectively it was very good because I did not skip any of the songs. Like I did not skip not one song. Now, in regards to replay, and like actually listening to the full album again, there was only like a couple songs that I actually had on repeat. There was only a couple songs. Now everything else I probably would have been like, you know, if it played, I'll probably sing along to it, but it's not something that I actually just go back and like, hey, let me go ahead and listen to the song. But I do feel that it was a very good and solid project. So I'll give it an 85.
Okay. So I guess it boils down to me here. Again, I think everybody has given the project a solid B. I had also given this project an A as well, but obviously in this case majority rules. But if we do add up the scores, it's probably going to be a B here, and it's going to be in front of Z. I will have to take into consideration because when as a whole, what my thoughts was that this project really was a great composition. But then as far as replay value, you guys made excellent points. And I kind of have to change my answer a little bit because now that you've mentioned it, I sat here and I thought about it. And I'm like, you know what? Very good point. So what I'm going to do is I'm still going to give it a higher score than Z because I gave Z a 90. So following my example, I'm going to give it a 92. Law has said 87. Leak has said 83. Nasa, what was your score?
85.
85.
And
Rome?
I'll go with 86.
86.
Hippies.
And with TDE, we have come to Black Hippie.
Yes,
the first
sir.
4 of TDE. And if we are keeping up with the trend, we have to go from the newest artist down to the oldest, which means that the last person to join TDE is Schoolboy Q.
Hey, really?
He was the last
Okay.
one.
He was the last one to join?
Yep.
Yes,
in the Black
because
History?
Kendrick joined first, then followed
No,
by
no.
J
I thought
Rock.
J Rock joined first. I think J Rock joined first.
That's a good question because when I read, it said that like Kendrick had joined first and then J Rock, like right at like I think right around the same time, and then it was Solo, and then it was Schoolboy Q. So
Because wasn't Kendrick opening up for J Rock at first?
yeah, but I think like TDE wanted to push J Rock first because he was older. At least that's what I thought. But that's what I read was that because initially Top Dawg was looking at Kendrick and his friend Dave before Dave was killed. So he had signed Kendrick and then had gotten J Rock like shortly after that. But J Rock was big brother. So the idea was to push J Rock first and have Kendrick follow along and learn. But that's just what I've either way, Kendrick is going to be last on this list. But Schoolboy Q out of the 4 was the last one to join. So let's go ahead and start with his first album, which is actually the first album to actually drop. It was a digital album out of all of Black Hippie. It was Setbacks.
Setbacks.
I fucking love this album.
What's your thoughts, Law?
All right, boom. So and I don't really want to age myself, but if we going back to 2011, yeah, Big Get the Money. What's the word? I said I got some weed. You know what I'm saying? It was like on some like stoner type vibes, but like you knew like it wasn't truly all about the drugs. Like he was actually talking, but he won't talking. Like especially and I hung around skaters, so like if the music didn't directly, relate to me, people I was around was listening to the same music. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Light years ahead, Sky High. What? Yeah. This was a solid project for 2011. And then to go back and re-listen to it, like you really gain a understanding and appreciation for Q, in my opinion.
Fair point. Rome.
Yeah, I fuck with this album. Setbacks is definitely not my favorite from Q, but it's definitely one of my better albums that I enjoy listening to from him. Just like you said, going back 2011, this definitely was a vibe. Like, Bet I Get Some Weed, Figure the Money. I played those on repeat often. And this was like, just getting introduced to like, that Southern type of rap style, them, rapping on the beat, like, the different type of actual beats that they use. It was like, okay, I'm vibing with this. Like, but what I really fucked with was always their storytelling. Because they were always telling their real life depictions of what they were going through, and when they did it through the song, I was like, okay, I can actually see what's going through. I can actually feel the vibe. I can understand what you're going through and feel your tensions and shit. So, yeah, Setback is definitely a solid album for me. I'll give like a B.
Okay.
The B Ranger.
Okay. I'm actually gonna go next. I want to just say real quick that when it comes to Setbacks. It's raw, mm-hmm. And it might be like the stories of the Crip affiliation. Mm-hmm. It could be laid back lyrics mixed with some very unique ad libs, whatever the case may be. It's a decent album with laid back tracks and gangster tales like Fig Get the Money, Cycle,
Birds in the Beats.
I Bet I Got Some Weed. That is definitely one of my favorites. Black Hippie is all over this, obviously. Light Years Ahead, Birds and the Bees. Rolling Stone with all 4 of them. Solo and Q's chemistry on Druggies with Hoes is definitely a strong highlight. But the next album actually has a stronger version, but we'll get to that. And of course, J Rock slides on What's the Word. Early Janae Aiko, which I really missed her collaborations with Black Hippie. Very, very slept on that. And I know that she was on the track Fantasy, and of course the collaborations with the Lori Joe, rest in peace, definitely helps blends in the chorus with Phenomenon. So I'd say B as well. Nasa?
I'll give this a B. I'll give this a B. I do think that now, I mean, let's be very clear. This was not the project that I was introduced to Schoolboy Q with.
Mm-hmm.
But just after just like listening to it, it was a very solid project. Now, I will say that my favorite songs off that project would have to be Fantasy and Kamikaze. Like
Okay.
Kamikaze was dope. But I do think I personally, I do feel like it was a very solid project. So I'll give it a B.
Got it. All right, Lee, what's going on with you, man?
So I honestly hadn't listened to this one. I started with the next album, Habits and Contradictions. So I can't give a valid opinion on this one.
Got it. For scoring sakes, let's just go ahead and add up the 4 scores that we had. We had all said B, so we just got to figure out where it lies on the B scale. Rome, what's your grade?
I'm giving this a 88.
Said 80.
Yeah, 80. Yeah, sorry, I forgot to.
All right. Law.
I give it a 85. That's a good
Nasa.
starting point.
I was gonna give it an 85 as well.
All right. I'm gonna say 84. 83.5, which puts Setbacks in front of Z, but behind Control. Habits and
I can live with
Contradictions. Leak stepped out for a second, so let's start with. I'll actually start with Habits and Contradictions. So this album really shows Q's ability to be both laid back and animated as hell. As the album title suggests, we get glimpses of Q struggling between his past life as a Crip and his current life as an artist. You can feel this album in different stages, from the somber Sacrilegious to the fast-paced Hands on the Wheel with A$AP Rocky to the slower-paced My Hatin' joint. There were 3 songs that were not on the Spotify version, so of course I had to go to YouTube to find Raymond 1969, as well as How We Feeling and Blessed with Kendrick, which is actually my favorite song in the album, and I can't believe that Spotify left that one off. But also Q and Solo running back with Druggies with Hoes again, and this is my favorite version of the 2. The video is hella trippy as well. It's interesting how the dynamics in this album shifts so suddenly. You get a volatile song like Oxy Music just to calm down again in Groove Line Part 1. There are really 2 moves throughout this album, and I do believe it captures the theme of the album very well. I'd given this a solid B plus A- range. That's where I think this album is. But what are Leak? What is your thoughts on Habits and Contradictions?
So, like I said, this is the first, like when I went back to go listen to School's music, this is when I started with. I'm gonna be completely transparent. You know how there's some rappers that you know can rap, but for whatever reason, you just don't resonate with them? That's how I've always felt about Schoolboy. For whatever reason, I can listen to some songs and I'm like, okay, yeah, he rapping, but I probably wouldn't play that again. And I'm not entirely sure what it is, but that's how I feel about Schoolboy. Like when he drops music, I go listen to it just because I feel like I should listen to it. But I've
Respect
never
for the artist.
yeah, just really honestly, but I've never been able to connect to it. So like when I listen to his music, it doesn't feel like a chore, but it just feels like this is what I should be doing. So going through this particular album, it was cool. It had its like, obviously Hands on the Wheel was like the biggest track commercially, I think. Really like that song. I think I liked Oxy Music. Love the features. I do like the features on this, but it is really it didn't do anything for me. But I still feel like it was good. But I don't know. It's hard to describe. I'm in a weird place when it comes to Schoolboy Q, but I do think it was good. And I will say I do think he gets better with each project he puts out.
Okay.
So I will say that it's just I don't have a connection to him. But I would say this is about, I would say it's like a 87.
Okay, that's fair. All right. Law.
We're going from setbacks to habits and contradictions. I like to think of the track names or album titles as like continuing works. So like you're talking about setbacks, part of setbacks are habits and contradictions. And so a lot of the things that he talked about, like you said, was his past life and relearning what he wanted for the new life he had coming. So yeah, like it was a solid project again to follow up from setbacks. I gotta give it, I'll say maybe about an 87, 88.
Okay. Let's do Rome next.
For me, I enjoyed some. I see this album as Q actually stepping a little bit more into his lane as like his own, I guess you want to call it, a brand of rapping. Like it's always been a bit high octane, a bit like energetic, but like with this one though, as you said, it's got two different tones. He's got a high octane, energetic song like there you go, hands on the wheel, but then he kind of slows it down with like like sex and like groove line and like those type of like tones that he shift like soft and somber, and like it doesn't like take away from the actual like intent of how he raps along, because he got that gruffy voice that makes it just like adds like the actual composition of how the album's done and how the songs play out. So I enjoy this one. I want to give it a B plus, so I want to say like solid 89.
Okay. And Nasa.
Okay, so you do have to forgive me on this one. I think I skipped over this particular. I ended up skipping over this particular album, not because I just wanted to, but I think I went straight to Oxymoron. I thought that was the next album.
Go crazy though.
Yeah, I thought that was the next album that came after Setbacks, not Habits and Contradictions. So you do have to forgive me. I can't really give a good or solid note to this one, but so you guys, I do apologize on that one.
Yeah, it's not a problem.
You're good.
But with that, we've just went ahead and took care of all the scores that we had for those who did listen to it. And we have gotten a score of 87.75. Now that would put Habits and Contradictions in front of Control as far as the B category. So Oxymoron would be the next album. Let's actually start with you, Nasa.
Okay, so Oxymoron is actually one of my favorite projects, or at least one of them. It's not the first of my favorite projects from Schoolboy Q, but it's definitely a solid one. Just from top to bottom, I think that it was just like it started off very nicely, very cool, very, I don't know, poetic, like for me. It was like almost very like I'm going into like a very open mic type of ordeal, like he's about to spit some shit, right? And it just got better from there. Like collard greens, he had, that was a big one. I absolutely love Studio. Studio is very dear to my heart. Like Studio is a very good one. But like overall, I do think that this was very solid. It definitely showed he was really, really consistent in his flow. And just like, yeah, I think he was just very, very more so like in his lane in this particular project.
Okay.
Like I think that with the other setbacks, we saw the introduction, we saw him trying to like get his flow and everything, but he was really solid in his flow on this project. So.
Okay. Let's go to Leak next.
I think out of all his albums, this one probably has like the most radio hits for me.
Mm-hmm.
Collard Greens was a huge song. I think Man of the Year was a big song. Studio, I really like Studio, but I feel like people didn't talk about it enough for whatever reason. Maybe because it was a more laid back kind of track, but it was all over the radio.
They overplayed that.
It was all over the radio. I really like Break the Bank too. Break the Bank was one of my favorite songs off the album as well.
I'm about to break the bank.
Yeah, Break the Bank.
Money beyond my mind.
This was better than Habits and Contradictions. I probably put it like a 88, 89, just a little bit better.
Okay.
But like I said, he's still just an artist that I can't get attached to for whatever reason.
All right. Okay. Fair enough. Rome.
All I'm going to say is Man of the Year, Hell of a Night, The Purge, Studio, Collard Greens. All these songs that Zeke said are radio hits, and they are all fire, and they all made this album really good. Like, all the songs are pretty good. Like, there was no skipping on this album. There was replay value in most of the songs. I enjoy this one out of. I don't want to say. I'm thinking about the other album that we have to come up. This one's definitely one of my favorites. I enjoy this shit so much, yo. Q finally was like, he's becoming more and more himself, like, with that, that rapping style where it's like, it's kind of eerie, where he gives you the storytelling, like he gives you the tones. That's still like, it's some dark, grimy shit, but I'm gonna give you this like soft melodic shit, which like studio. So like, I really fuck with like the way the tone that he shifts in the songs, and it's actual, like from song to song, like it goes from like, from grimy dark, then it goes to like, somber in tone. So like, I give something like a 89, 90.
Okay. Law.
I agree with that point, Rome. He realized, like, stepped through the threshold of I was into I am. Like, I'm here. I have my artistry. I have my sound. Like, yeah, don't forget, you know what I'm saying? I can take it there if I gotta go there, but you know what I'm saying? For the most part, it was strictly just, putting solid music out. And I think that's more so of why he had so many radio hits. Because I ain't gonna hold you. Break the Bank, and what was the other one? Break the Bank and Collard Greens was always like, that was on my turn up list. Like, I'm getting ready for a sport, like right there.
Studio, I kid you not, I had Studio on repeat. But let's talk about The Purge, because Tyler, the Creator, like, I feel like that was a beautiful collaboration, because like that shit was real. That was low key was a hella raw. Like the Tyler, the Creator, and correct.
Mm-hmm.
I said, okay, that's tough. Listen.
But a lot of Tyler the Creator features, especially like with West Coast artists, like they pop. Like, I don't know what it is. Like, Tyler really be in his bag when it comes down to it.
And I agree. I definitely agree with that. But and for me, like with Tyler, I never really was kind of really into Tyler like that. Like, just like with Schoolboy Q, I really wasn't really into Schoolboy Q like that. Like, he's not like I'm with Lee. Like, he's not that type of artist that'll be like, oh yeah, I have to listen to him. Like, if I listen to him, I listen to him. But Tyler be spitting, my God, like he be really in his bag with his lyrics.
Yeah.
To your point,
Tyler is sometimes he just goes so left, and it's just like
he be going left, but I be like, yo, you better speak that shit.
Yeah,
but that makes like Tyler.
Yeah, early Tyler for me was just like, whoa, boy, you need to chill. Like, you
chill out.
Chill. And then eventually he did. But it was just, I think that was me. Like, all my friends and whatnot, when we were in school, like they was listening to Tyler. I was like, yo, I can't do it, bro. The shock raps is just really just too out there. But since he's calmed down a lot, I've been able to at least get into him a little better. So that's just me. Regarding Schoolboy Q, when it comes to Oxymoron, this album is literally all gas, no breaks, with the exception of Studio, Prescription, and Blind Threats. But this has the most radio hits on the like literally this album had the most radio hits that he had. Obviously we got Studio, Collard Greens, Man of the Year. Hell of a Night was actually my favorite. Just because I used to, when it was time to like get ready to go to a party, or get ready to time to turn up, I'm like, I'm turning on Hell of a Night and I'm getting hyped right before. So that was just me. What They Want, Hoover Street, The Purge was, a great collaboration. Break the Bank, Oxymoron, which was the second half of Prescription. This album just keeps you active. I will say in the face of variety, there isn't much variety if you compare it to Habits and Contradictions. But what this album accomplishes is keeping you engaged throughout the entire project to the point where I could say like this album doesn't have that many skips, if any at all. Also, it was really different to hear Q include his daughter's voice. Like the album literally starts with hello, hello, fuck rap, my daddy a gangster, and you just like, oh, that's how we come in, Q. Okay, all right. So overall, I gave this album an A. I had said probably it'll be a 91, 92, somewhere in that range. What was everybody else's grades?
I believe I gave it 89.
I think I gave it 88.
88 plus 89.
About a 92. 92.
92. I said 91. And Nasa, what was your grade?
I'll give it 88.
88. All right. Divided by 5. 89.6 is where Oxymoron falls. I know we're probably going to get some people who will look at this and be like, what? Oxymoron is a good what? I'm already knowing we're going to get that reaction, but.
I mean, it's good, but he had better, let's be honest, he definitely had better projects.
Which brings us to his next project, Blank Face LP.
My favorite.
So this is absolutely my favorite, but it is going to lose points for one reason. And it's because Q doesn't like the album anymore.
What?
Why?
He thinks it's too dark.
Oh, nah, bro.
But that's
great.
outside of Q's opinion.
You know, I don't think it was dark, but it had its dark moments.
Yes, yeah. It certainly is a true it's a true gangsta album in my opinion. But in my honest opinion, like I would have given this an S had it not been for that. But I'm still putting this as a high A, just from my opinion. I'm still gonna say A plus, just because of the overall concept of this album and how it was put together. This absolutely blew me back, and I'm just upset that he himself couldn't, didn't like it anymore. But still, I'm giving this a high A. I could give my full opinion of it, but it's just his most ambitious and creative project. The creative blend of hood tales and psychedelic sounds make for an unprecedented album, in my opinion. No one else has made an album quite like this, and I don't think anybody will make one like this for a while. I will say the album does suffer from the fact that it doesn't have like any actual real singles like the last one did, other than that part, but it makes up for it with those dark and heavy tracks like Torch, Groovy Tony / Eddie Kane, John Muir, which is my personal favorite on the album because he actually does nothing but freestyle on that song. Ride Out by Any Means, Blank Face because Anderson .Paak came with that shit.
Super slap on.
Yeah. And Black Thoughts is another good one. Q even featured a short film that accompanied the album. And I said that despite the fact that he had regrets about this, conceptually, this album hit the mark. The only song that didn't really fit was Big Body, but that's okay, considering it was the only one of the sillier songs on the album. But that's literally the only song that I was like, but everything else was just was a hit to me. So I'm going to give it a 97. So I just need to hear what everybody else has to say about it.
Now, Blank Face literally was like, I'm getting to the point where like I'm about to spaz out type. Like, like some of them songs really make you go there.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I know what I mean. I ain't gotta explain too much, but like the fact that like you said, he thinks that it was that he doesn't like it anymore. I don't necessarily see why he would say that. Like, you got to think, like, okay, you didn't really backtrack when it came down to it in terms of like your growth, but like you said, with his daughter being on the like, fuck that, my daddy a gangster. Like when you be so wrapped up with like industry shit, niggas real, I forget where you came from. Like, so like
Mhm.
he just, I feel like this was his like wake up call to motherfuckers, let him remember who he is. I give it another 91, 92.
Okay.
I don't see why he would not like this. I enjoy the dark tones. The way the intro to Groovy Tony and slash Eddie Kane, that shit is so fire, bro. Like what?
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
how you gonna tell me you don't like your own music? And this album was so fucking fire. Even from like Whatever You Want was such a chill vibe, but like that shit was just, it slapped. And like it didn't have a lot of radio hits, but it did have, what it did have was a lot of actual stories or from real life tales that he went through. And like you can feel the tone shift and you can feel the darkness of the album, as you said. It's a really deep album, man. Like he did a real fucking job. Like fucking Lord Have Mercy, Torch, Groovy Tony, that part with Kanye, even that part with Kanye, that shit was so fucking fire. Yeah, this is like getting an automatic 95, 96 from me.
Okay.
This album was fire.
Leak.
I think out of all his projects, I think this has the best, for me, this has the best group of features out of all of them. And I don't think it's really that close. I wish that part Black Hippie remix was on here, but whatever. I liked that part, obviously. I liked Vince Staples, one of my favorite feature artists. Love that track. So I really liked Dope Dealer with E40. Like I said, I think overall, and then Blank Face with Anderson .Paak, I think the list of features he got from this album was perfect. I think I think this is where he peaked. And then kind of after that, it was kind of really hit or miss for me. But overall, this is his strongest album. I would give it about a 92, 93.
Okay. And NASA, last but not least.
I give this a 97 because when this dropped, like I definitely was in tune with this project. Like literally, probably out of the entire project, there's only two that I did not like, and that was Groovy Tony. For me, Groovy Tony was not my favorite, and No You're Wrong wasn't my favorite as well. But everything else was hella solid. Dope Dealer was my shit because E40 was on that hoe, and Tukey Knows. What else? Never Change. I had that song on repeat. Okay, I feel like they was really in their bag. Q and SZA. Let's see what else. That part, like the entire song, like I feel like was just, it may have been dark, but it was real and it was his reality.
Yep.
And I feel bad that he did not enjoy this because this was a art project. Like this was really like an artist project. Like there was a lot of thought that put into it. And sometimes as artists, like we really do, sometimes like we can get afraid of like putting certain things out and, not feeling the best as when it does come out. But like this was a incredibly solid project, and I don't give a damn if it was dark. That was in his bag with this one. So I'll give it an 87. I'll give it an 80. A good 8, not 87. My apologies. 97.
Got it.
97 on that one.
I recorded everybody's grade. After doing the math here, it came down to a 95, which put it right behind November, but in front of Zay's projects here. So that leaves Crash Talk. I want to go first on this one because when I first listened to Crash Talk, I was not a fan of this album at all. But after listening to it again, it's like, okay, I have a better respect for this album. He said that he had the most fun recording this out of all of his projects, and I kind of believe that after listening to it. But by far to me, this is his worst project. But that doesn't necessarily mean that the project itself was bad. It's just this is his worst one. But I'm just gonna go and talk about what I had on Twitter. I just said the album, let's see, Q obviously wanted to have more fun with this album as opposed to the darker tones presented in the last 3 albums. Despite the lighter tone, Q still gives us bangers and tales of his life, this time as an active father and a man making sure his homies are good. The only song that really didn't seem to fit to me was Chopsticks with Travis Scott. I don't know why he had that on there, but Num Num Juice goes dumb hard. Crash is an excellent track. Drunk is smooth. And of course, my boy Black, aka Six Lack, once again is undefeated on the features. And Lies included a hook from Ty Dolla $ign that does deliver. I wanted to point out that the floating track with 21 Savage had me vibing. But unlike other albums, there are tracks on here that don't meet the mark as far as engagement. It could be because Q has toned down his activity level and the songs here are at a slower pace than his previous projects. But you know, the album is worth revisiting if you didn't like it at first. If you give it another chance to listen to it, you'll be like, okay, it's really not that bad. So overall, this was a B minus. This was an 80 in my opinion.
Hmm.
80.
I would give this a I would
And be honest, Nasa.
I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be honest. To be honest, I think I would give it probably like a 79. 79 is good for me.
Hey, that's fair. That is absolutely fair.
I think a 79 is fair for me. It's not the best project. I still think Blank Face kind of tops up pretty much all of them, but
yeah.
It was good. I think the only real song that I actually liked was Lies with Ty Dolla $ign and YG, and then Drunk. So those were probably my favorites on the project.
Okay. Law, let's go to you next.
So we're talking 3 years from Blank Face to Crash Talk. I'm also taking into account that, you know, sorry, I had to turn my heat on. I was cold. But nah, just like seeing how he grew from Blank Face to Crash Talk, like he's a family man now. So like he's not really doing too much of the dumb shit that he was doing in Blank Face. You know what I'm saying? So like, I don't know. I'm not gonna say it wasn't bad, but like I will say that I feel like Blank Face was like peak Q. So like I'm gonna say Crash Talk came in at about 77, 78.
Okay. Rome?
This album, it wasn't my favorite. And that's only off the fact that it wasn't the same as the other albums. The other albums, they definitely had the same dark, gangster vibe and everything, but this album wasn't. I wasn't getting a lot of that, and I enjoyed that from Q because that's what I expect from Q because that's what I love about what he does in storytelling and how he complements, the beats and the rhymes to make it work. I love that, and the best songs from me from this album was Num Num Juice and Floating. And those two were just because they were hype. They were fun to listen to. I enjoyed it too. They had a lot of replay value, but like all the other songs on the album weren't really memorable. Like they were dope. They were cool, like like Water with Little Baby, but like nothing really like stood out in this album. Was just kind of like, I think this is just like calming down, like toning down. So like I'm gonna give this project, because I know you guys won't hear from me, but like I miss the old Q. And that's just being honest. So I'm gonna give this like a 81.
Okay. And the leak.
First time I tried to listen to this album when it came out, I don't think I made it halfway through. When I went back to listen to it, it's not bad, but it's extremely hit or miss. There are some songs that slap. Obviously, Num Num Juice, but the song is too freaking short.
Yep.
So I get mad every time I listen to it. I mean, it's okay. It's not bad, but it's okay. it's not something that I would ever come back to though. Like, and a lot of these tracks did not make my playlist. So I'll probably go like 83.
Okay. When we equal it out, it is 80 even. So
Just barely above mid.
yep.
Just barely.
Just barely. All right, we have completed Schoolboy Q. We got 3 artists. Let's get to Solo, Ab-Soul. And starting with his debut album, Long-Term Mentality, which I honestly think is probably his most slept on album.
Agreed.
I've always said, I'm just going to go ahead and start since mine is usually lengthy. Solo has always been the more politically conscious of the four and probably the best lyrically in regards to punchlines. Album starts off by getting his listeners ready for the spiritual journey, real thinkers. The album continues to take a journey through Solo's mind as he prepares for the next stage in his career. A few tracks stand out on this album for me. Hell Yeah with Schoolboy Q, Moscato with Kendrick, which is a continuation of P&P, if you know that series. Top Dog, Underdog, more of Euphoria, Picture That, and Constipation with all of Black Hippie. TDUD probably serves as my favorite track as Solo sees himself as the underdog of Black Hippie and how some people thought he would be better off as a singer due to his vocal contributions. If you've ever heard some of his lyrics on some of the choruses or some of the vamps, they are really good. He also talks about the other 3 members and the label with media attention that they're getting, especially Kendrick, while he waits in the wings. More of a Euphoria explains how we can create a paradise in our lives while simultaneously overcoming negativity. And the track Picture That gives us the opportunity to picture which direction our lives are headed and to always shoot for the best opportunities. Overall, Long-Term Mentality takes the themes of his long-term mixtape series and blends it together with long-term goal setting and planning. And of course, Constipation gives us another Black Hippie collab, which showcases the chemistry of all 4 artists. And I'm still upset we never got a Black Hippie album. So I gave this one a solid B+. This was probably like an 88. What are everybody else's thoughts?
I would give it an 85. I will be very honest. Listening to Ab-Soul, my attention span was kind of very short with him. So it's not like, though I was able to listen through his projects, some of the songs stuck with me, some didn't. So it's not like some weren't as memorable as others. But I think that with this one, with this album, it stuck with me more than the rest of them did.
Okay.
It stuck with me more than the rest of them did. So I will give it an 85 on this one.
Got it. Law, let's go to you.
A lot of the time that I got introduced to Ab-Soul was when I was participating in certain activities. And so like it would make me think, you know. But as I re-listened to Long-Term Mentality, it really made me think. So like, yeah, I think it was like a very, very solid album. If I had to give it a rating, I'd give it a 84, 85.
Okay, that's fair. I'll save Rome for last. Leak, what are your thoughts on Long-Term Mentality?
Long-Term Mentality is decent. Like you said, in my opinion, I think Soul is the best lyricist on the label. Even more so than Kendrick, but that's me getting into my definition of what lyricism is and what it's not. But I think it was a solid start. Didn't blow me away, wasn't forgettable. I would probably give it about an 84.
Okay. Rome.
I'm be honest, Ab-Soul is probably my least favorite off of Black Hippie. And I don't know what it is about him. I think Nasa, you had it right. Like my attention span with him, it just wouldn't stick. I just can't stay focused on listening to him. Like his songs were always, maybe it's because I was high when I listened to him, but like his song never really like, you know, stood out to me. Like they're always dope and I enjoy it. Like his lyricism and storytelling was decent, but like it was never like something I'm like, okay, this is fire. And I don't know what it is. Like, with him, it's like it just. I don't know if it's just he just sounds like he just not like fully committed. Like, as you can tell, like there was like songs that he was doubting himself. Like he didn't feel like he was the best. He didn't feel like he was good enough. And you can hear that through his music, through this album. Like you hear that he's like, okay, I'm all right. I'm gonna try my best, but like I wanted more confidence from him because I feel like he could be better, and he does portray that in his later albums. Like I enjoy it more. But like this first album, he was still kind of like self down himself, and that came through heavy, and it made me not really like it as much. But it was still a decent album, so I'll give it like a 84.
Okay. This puts long-term mentality right at 85. So this is probably going to be, it's tied with setbacks. All right. Now, control
Comes out
system.
right the same time frame.
Yep. They both came out in 2011. So now we're into control system. Now, this might be biased of me. Control system is by far my favorite solo album.
That's a fact.
I think this is probably the first S that I've given.
This is a classic album.
Yes,
this is classic.
Control system is an S. Now everybody else might have different thoughts, but here are my thoughts on this. This is his best album, bar none. It puts in perspective a lot of things: government control, societal control, and aspects of our social lives that have control over our everyday routines. In all honesty, this might be one of the best concept albums TDE has ever released outside of Kendrick. Terrorist Threats, SOPA, Rebellion, Beautiful Death speak on revolution in the midst of government control. Double Standards, Mixed Emotion, Lust Demons, Bohemian Grove, and Empathy are tracks with question society standards on human emotion and sex. Pineal Gland encourages us to open our third eye. And Illuminate follows Solo, telling us his plans to run the rap game with everyone gravitating to his light. And Kendrick, of course, drops another dope verse. The most somber track of this album is the second to last track, The Book of Soul. This track follows Solo's personal life and how his life is similar to Job's in the Bible. Soul contracted Stephen Johnson syndrome at 10 and is the reason his lips are permanently black and has light-sensitive eyes. But nothing compares to when his longtime girlfriend, Alori Joe, who was a featured artist with many of Black hippie back in the past, committed suicide a few months before this album even dropped. Soul still tries to press on despite the fact that Alori is gone and all the unfortunate hardships he went through. In the last track, Black Lip Bastard Remix gives us the Black hippie collaboration where everyone once again kills it. Janae Aiko once again blesses on Terrorist Threats, obviously with him and Danny Brown. And the solo on this album proves that he can definitely handle his own along with the other TDE members. Control System to me is a classic. Whether you consider it a cult classic or what have you, it still, in my opinion, does belong in the S category.
Okay.
Nah, I 100% agree. Soul is probably my second or third favorite artist off all of TDE. Like I said, I think he's the best lyricist out of all of them. This is what made me a Soul fan. This is the first album I came into. And like he said, to me, like track for track, there is little to no misses on this album. This album is super deep. Like he talks about a lot of stuff on this album and he executes it very well. And the features are dope, especially the vocals from Janae Aiko, Alori Joe, rest in peace. And like he said, Book of Soul is one of them songs that every time I listen to it, I get emotional, bro. Like,
yeah,
the things that this man has gone through is crazy. And the fact that he's still like pressing on is incredible. And he always makes references and pays homage to Alori Joe in all his projects in some way, form, or fashion. And every time it brings me back to Book of Soul. And it's just like, this is an incredible song. And I think it's an incredible album. So for me, I would score this at least a 105.
Okay. What are everybody else's thoughts?
To be honest, this album, I didn't know about this album because I was hearing a lot of his songs on like a different playlist. So it come up and like I always vibe with these songs like Terrorist Threats, Illuminate. Those are always popped up in plays. I'm like, this is fire. I think that's what made me start, go check out Soul and see what he was about. But this album would be my favorite album out of all the rest of him. This album, lyrically was stunning. Like it had a lot of bangers. I enjoyed the storytelling. Like I felt the intensity from his his rap lyrics. This is definitely solid like 98, 99 for me.
Okay.
And this is just go for like, I don't know what it is, but and I said like he's my least favorite, but this album right here, it definitely made him like, okay, I acknowledge you as a rapper and as a lyricist, but compared to like Kendrick, like J Rock, I put him over J Rock. I mean, I put J Rock over him, but like he's up there.
Okay. Janasa.
I would give this a 95 because I do think that this was a very, very detailed and a very well put together project. Do I still feel that long-term mentality was I feel like long-term mentality was probably my favorite. Not to say that this wasn't a good and solid project, but for me, long-term mentality gave me it was just because it was just like it was a good introduction project for him.
Okay.
It was a very solid introduction project for him, and this was a good old follow through. It was a good old follow up. So I'll give it a 95.
Indeed. Law.
I agree with y'all. I mean, and that's not even me not having anything to say, but like he legit has proven himself to be like top tier lyricist for TDE at this point. Like, and like you said, like Lee said, it's literally. I mean, I don't know if he was downplaying Kendrick, but like it real life goes Kendrick, Absol, Kendrick, depending upon how you view it in terms of lyricists. You definitely got those young cats who are coming in now who are having to truly be about lyrics. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So yeah, giving it a score, I'll give it a 94, 95. It's up there.
It's a classic. It got a score of 100 after we tallied all of the results.
Word.
Because my score was a 106. So yeah, there it is. We have our first classic out of TDE. So we're just gonna go through it real quick for the audience again. So in the S tier, we finally have Absol's Control System. A, The Sun's Tirade by Zay. November by Sir. Blank Face LP by Schoolboy Q. Sylvia Demo and The House is Burning is tied. Also tracks by Zay. Chasing Summer by Sir, and There You Have It by Reason. In the good category, we have Oxymoron by Schoolboy Q. Habits and Contradictions by Schoolboy Q. Control by SZA. Long-Term Mentality by Absol. Setbacks by Q. Z by SZA. Crash Talk by Q. In the mid category, or C, Run Wild, Run Free by Zakari. In the D category, Introverted Intuition by Lance Skywalker. And then, of course, the EPs, we have Her and Her Too by Sir, followed by Soul by Zakari, Tales from the Telescope Chapter 2 by Lance, Peer Pressure by Rayvon, and Chapter 1, Tales of the Telescope by Lance. We have 2 more albums by Soul that we have to talk about. These Days is next. If I have to be honest, it is such a huge drop off from Control System. That being said, These Days is a tiny bit better than I gave it credit for the first time I heard it, but I guess he just set the bar so high with Control System that These Days just I don't know what happened. I guess I was expecting another Control System, but after revisiting the album again, it's a lot better than I initially gave it credit for. It still lags behind Control System and Long-Term Mentality, in my opinion, but the album is still solid. One thing this album's concept suffers from is consistency. Throughout the album, you hear the Christ-like alliteration and comparisons like Stigmata, Just Have Fun, God's Reign, but also get tracks that go into less heavy subject matter, like the first part of Just Have Fun. You got Feeling Us, Sapiosexual, Dub Sack, 100 Stacks. Some of the heavy material include Closure, where Solo still struggles over a Lori Joe's suicide. And I think that kind of boosted the album, in my opinion. Rod Slow, which was Solo's favorite song, because apparently he was on acid when he recorded this. And Kendrick Lamar's Interlude, which is a continuation of Absol's outro from Section 80. And Terrace Martin, once again, destroys that saxophone solo. Shout out to that man. Overall, this I also forgot about World Runners with Lupe, which is actually, oddly enough, was one of my favorites. But
that song was so random.
Yeah, it was random though. That's the only problem. It's just like, dang, yo, this is random. I enjoy it because it's Lupe, but damn, okay. But it's a less serious album from Control System, and he does still drop some heavy bars throughout. But other than that, I mean, it's a solid project. I gave it a B. You know, it's a very low B, not B minus. So it'll probably be like a 80, 83 or 84 to me.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
The place.
Say again?
This shit was all over the place.
Yeah.
Like you said, I feel like a lot of it has to do with the expectations of coming after Control System.
Mm-hmm.
But even if you just like take the album within itself, like it's all over the place. Some of the features were good. Some of the tracks were good. Kendrick Lamar's Interlude, I feel like, was the high of the album, which your best song on the album can't be mainly because of somebody else. That's not good. It's okay. Like, that's it. It's literally just okay. It's definitely, to me, one of his weaker albums. It was some songs I liked. I liked, obviously, the intro, God's Reign. World Runners, I like Lupe's feature, but that's because I'm a Lupe stan. Kendrick Lamar's Interlude. And then it just kind of tapers off. It goes up and down. So I give it about an 82.
Okay. Very fair. Nasa?
I'm not gonna hold you. My attention. I did not make it through this project.
That is fair. That is absolutely fair.
I did not make it through the project. And I probably didn't make it, and I know for a fact I did not make it through the last project. It's just like he's not my favorite artist. So it's not like my attention to be like really in the zone as far as his music is kind of like my attention goes elsewhere. But I know for a fact I did not go through this album completely.
I hear that. And Rome.
I would agree with that. I got through it, but it was okay. I like there's nothing memorable about this album. At least it was all over the place. It was just kind of like, okay, he put something together, but it wasn't like stunning. It wasn't like, there wasn't any like, consistency like storytelling. There wasn't anything that like really draw me in. It was just like, okay, I'll pay this. Just feel like it's a bunch of random songs. Yeah, and they tuck and say, okay, I'm gonna put it on the album and we're gonna call it this these days. So that's how he's been feeling. But it does feel like he's been kind of like, a bit all over the place, and I guess that's what he gave us. So this for me is giving like at least a 75.
That's fair. That is very fair. So I got 83, 82, 83, 75. Nasa said she couldn't get through it, so I guess we won't be able to degrade from that perspective. So let us see what the four of us have come up with. 80.75. So once again, an album just above mid.
And it's funny though, because I just looked at the date that it dropped. I was at pre-college.
And I
So,
to be honest, like I would not expect it to be above Z. Like, and maybe that's just me because I just did not make it through the shit. So
yeah,
don't,
I think
don't listen to me.
Z had like an 80.6, so this one had an 80.75.
So it would have scored it. It would have been in the mid column.
Yeah.
Probably. It would have made it into mid.
Right.
Should be mid.
If NASA got through it, it probably would have been like, okay, it's mid. So yeah.
Because she would have probably gave it like a 77.
I would
I would
have.
have gave it.
I would have been.
That's what I'm
okay
saying.
with it 7 to 7.
Like the fact that she had a DNF did not finish that.
That
the hers
alone
did.
showed us.
That's a good one. I'm gonna use that. That DNF.
Yeah.
Did not finish. Figured out.
All right. That brings us to Solo's last album, Do What Thou Wilt. Just to give my opinion again, and I've been going first on Solo the entire time. I liked the concepts of this album, but something felt missing. I don't know what it was. Maybe it's the hooks weren't there. Maybe it's because the album isn't as coherent. It might be because some of his lyrics don't stick this time around. I don't know what it was, but I think this is Solo's weakest project, not because of lack of a concept, which the idea of God being a woman is in fact a very interesting topic, but where the album doesn't succeed is the ability to draw the audience in for the ride and the experience of Solo's thought process. That isn't to say that the album is trash. It's still solid, but it's just nothing special and doesn't quite captivate my attention as the other projects. His wordplay and technical delivery is still a big mindfuck in itself, and his theories are still sound, but from a listening standpoint, it drags sonically and it often falls flat of carrying Solo's point across. I don't want to say that the album is forgettable. However, it is the album I listen to the least out of all four. Outside of Braille, The Law, which Rhapsody does slide on that, and Max provides an excellent hook, and Huey Knew Then. It took me a while to get that. I was like, Huey Knew Then, get it? Huey Newton. Funny. The album just doesn't quite live up to my expectations of Solo and what he's capable of dropping as far as a lyrical and entertaining mindfuck. Since Solo hasn't dropped since 2016, I do hope that he gives us one more before Kendrick leaves TDE and ventures on with PG Lang. But overall, this album, to me, it just wasn't well put together. The concepts were there, but from a sonic standpoint and from a listening experience, it just wasn't there for me. So I'm gonna say 74.
You can go ahead and give me a DNF because I did not finish this one. You can go ahead and clap a big old DNF on that one.
All right, Rome, you on mute.
This is getting a mid for me. This is a solid C album. Again, not memorable, and I don't know what it is about Ab-Soul. Like his delivery on his or just I don't know if it's just the way he sounds, but I just don't like his music that much. Like I said, the classic album that he made was probably the best album, but like all the other ones just seemed like they were just kind of like they were whatever. He wasn't really seem like he was really focusing and wasn't really putting in the effort that he did on what's it called? But
Control System.
Control System. So yeah, this is a C. This is mid. It was okay, but it wasn't like anything to really, tip my hat at. I'm not tipping my hat like CP0.
Lee.
So the concept was great, but it was not well executed. Sonically, it wasn't great. I feel like because sonically it didn't really go with the concept, I feel like the lyrics didn't deliver, even though what he was saying was very deep, and he had a lot of things that was in this album that I feel like are worth a second listen. But this album also didn't age well either. But the intro was fire though. Raw Backwards, fire. Yeah. Lonely Soul, I love Lonely Soul. I love Punch's verse. I love the song The Law. Like I said, there's a lot of songs on here have potential to be really good. Threatening Nature could have been really good. Wifey versus Wi-Fi could have been really good.
Yes.
But I think the beat selection wasn't great. I don't know. I feel like this could have been, for me, a Lupe type album, but he didn't deliver correctly. So I give it like a solid 80. That's it.
I think it really says deliver. That's really making it just
Law.
Oh, what we're talking about? Do what that? Sorry, my headphones were dying. My phone's dying. Everything's just in Shambles.
I feel that, man. It's Do Without Wilt.
Oh yeah, that. But this was a sleeper, and I mean sleeper in the meaning of like I really didn't have too many memorable tracks from this. And again, this was 2016, so like had so many other artists that I was actually locked in with at that time. Like, not a bad album, but through the listen, yeah, I wasn't like, oh my God, I gotta listen to that again. Like I said, like, I mean, I like the track The Law, but it's play on my name. That's the only reason why.
All right.
Oh, well, and then you had the Mac Miller Rhapsody. I can say I did like that track.
Okay.
But other than that, that was pretty much it.
All right. What's your grade?
He started so well, you know, and now it's just like we're talking about like, do I want to give him a 69 or do I want to give him a 71? Like, I don't know. I'm gonna meet him in the middle and give him a 70.
$74.5 is the final score for Do Without Wilt, which I believe, I'm trying to think if I remember. Do you remember the score for Run Wild, Run Free?
74.6, so it's still behind Zakai.
All right. Okay. Well, there it is. We've covered all of Solo's albums. 2 more artists, and we are out of here. J-Rock, aka Eastside Johnny. The first album of J-Rock that was released was Follow Me Home. It was intending to be the first album that TDE released, but because of the deal with Warner Brothers that went bad, obviously that didn't happen. So it ended up being released after Long-Term Mentality and Setbacks. So man, they said something was wrong. Oh gosh, please don't you dare. But okay, all right, cool, we saved it. All right, any thoughts on Follow Me Home?
I actually really fucked with this album. I did. I thought this was a very good little dope album, little introduction to J-Rock. Now, you know, I'll speak on the next album, but I do think this is a really good little dope nice little intro to him.
Mm-hmm.
I will give it a I would give this an 85. I think this was a very solid project, or a good introduction to him as an artist. For Top Dawg.
Okay. Yeah. That's fair. Let's how about you go next, Lee?
I don't think I listened to this one.
Okay. All right, so we got a DNL, did not listen.
DNL.
All right, Rome.
Yeah, I gave this album I think a 84. Like, this was a good intro album to, like, you know, J-Rock. As I said, he's probably one of my favorites next to Kendrick and, you know, Q. It's something about just the way he delivers his lines. Like it's just punchline after punchline, and you can see the early starts of this, but you see it develop more and more in the later albums. But this album was definitely a good start album for him. Like it was good. The storytelling was there. Like he kept me enthused. He tell me about his tale to being a hood nigga, you know, in the blood life, and I can understand that. I would say I can relate because I wasn't in gangs, but I was around them, so I understood like the life that he was going through. Like he did a really good job like telling his side of the story, like how he felt in those lifestyles. So yeah, this is like 84 for me.
Law.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a 85. Like, say what's up with Q, Absol, and Kendrick. Like that was a tight like intro to TDE in general. And then you got the track All My Life. Yeah. Oh, All My Life in the Ghetto with Wayne and Will I Am. That was good. Hood Gonna Love It. Those were like the main tracks that I thought were real live solid, you know. Rating wise, I think I said it, what, 85?
Yeah.
Yeah, so like as an intro, I mean, I know he had Black Friday before that, but as a true intro, I think that's a solid track or solid album. My bad.
Okay. All right. So here is mine. Obviously, with my grade, I also gave it 85, which puts it at 84.75. This was a very good introduction for J-Rock. This was again supposed to be the first album that TDE dropped, but obviously they had to, change some things around because the Warner Brothers deal went bad. In all honesty, I know we said Black Friday was one of his was the mixtape before that, but of course we can't cover Black Friday because it was mixtape and it wasn't a commercial mixtape on top of that. He also had that Double XL mixtape as well, but I can't really count that either because that technically wasn't a commercial tape. It got put on Spotify later, much later. But if we were talking about it, it definitely had tracks that were going to fit a potential mainstream run. We know Rock ran into some early problems, but you got Hood Tales from the perspective of J-Rock, like Money, Hood Gonna Love It, Just Like Me, Kill or Be Killed, Life's a Gamble. All of those focus on like the juxtaposition of dangers and glorification of hood lifestyles. Of course, there's the occasional built for radio tracks like Elbows, West Side with Chris Brown, Finest Hour with Rick Ross, and of course, All My Life in the Ghetto with Weezy, which was actually recorded in 2008. So this is still prime Weezy. And the album is a very solid start and was even getting some comparisons to the Game's debut album, The Documentary. So, we got 84.75 for Follow Me Home. And that would put it up, and this thing went bad again. Goodness. Come on, yo.
Yeah, this thing actually fucked up.
I think I just got a bad lips. Hang on, let me make sure that I'm doing my thing. I don't want to know about the war in Ukraine right now. Boy, hopefully this thing, once again, it just froze on me. But we'll fix it. Anyway, okay, there's that. That's really weird. Okay, I think I recovered it, but yep, here we go. I had Follow Me Home as right there. Okay. 90059 is next.
Not my favorite project out of all three. I would probably give this a C. A solid C. I would give this a C. It's not my favorite.
Very interesting.
But I would give this a C.
Very interesting indeed. This is by far his shortest album, but I think
Sure, that's not my favorite.
from a creative standpoint, I'm gonna disagree. I'm gonna say that this is not my favorite J Rock album, but I want to say from the creative standpoint that he had, this was definitely better than Follow Me Home. It's very experimental and has more minimalistic beats, but it still comes with that same gritty hood tales that Rock is known for. And unfortunately, this album didn't get that much exposure, but when you look at to some of the stories that he had, like with like in Money Trees Deuce, which if y'all know about Money Trees, obviously from Kendrick's album, it just gives us his perspective of dream chasing. Vice City with Black Hippie is by far my favorite track. Like all four of them went stupid. 90059, the track itself is weird but refreshing. Gumbo is a very good track too, and it's still very short, but I'm still putting it in that B range. I think if the album had been maybe a little longer, it probably could have gotten a higher grade, but I'm gonna say like an 86. That's just for me. Law, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, Easy Bake for sure. It's probably like best. I won't say the best song on the track or the out of the track list, but it wasn't memorable. Like it had good songs, but it wasn't like, damn, I gotta have that on my daily drive playlist. Like it was just like solid project.
Okay. What grade would you give it?
I give it an 80.
Okay.
For me, this album was like, it wasn't memorable. It wasn't anything to like, special, but it definitely was J Rock, coming more into his actual lyricism and how he raps, like even in telling, like in Vice City, though Black Hippie, that song is my favorite. That one's probably like the best song on the album next to Easy Bake. But like, and then with 90059, I don't know what that was. It is weird, and I listened to it a few times. I was like, I don't know what he was trying to come across, what he was trying to portray, but it just wasn't hidden. The best feature he had was probably Busta Rhymes, and I enjoyed that song, "Fly on the Wall." But like the rest of the album was just kind of like, it was okay, but yeah, not my favorite from J Rock, but still, it was pretty good. So I'll give it like a 83, 84. Yeah,
Okay.
you can go 84.
And Lee.
I love the features on the album, but
Even Lance Skywalker.
But this album for me doesn't have a lot of replay value.
For sure.
It has a few songs that are really good, and then there's songs that you forget about. The thing of what J-Rock is, some of his songs completely miss me, and then some songs I love, and it's not really an in-between with him for me. But this album, I'd probably give it a 83, but that's mainly because most of the features I really, really liked. I feel like
8701 tape.
I feel like he didn't really get into his bag until the next album.
Which we get into that in a second. Shanasa, what was your grade again? I know you said you gave him like a C. What was the grade?
I'll give him a 75.
Okay.
81.6.
So in this case, that falls behind Setbacks, but still in front of These Days, Z, and Crash Talk. Real quick, Law, I just realized that I was missing something. What was the grade again for New Beginnings for Reason?
New Beginnings, pulling it up now. 79.
Okay, I thought so. All right, I can't believe I missed out on that one. But thank you for helping me run that back. And then just for talking points, what I'm gonna do is put No More, No Less in the middle. So that way, you know, whenever we do get to listen to it, if we need to come back and, you know, add a comment to it on a later episode, we'll do that. But now, Redemption by J-Rock.
By far the best album by J-Rock.
By wholeheartedly.
Yeah, it's not
Top to bottom.
close.
Wow Freestyle, King's Dead, Tap Out. Even the intro alone was so eerie and gritty. I'm like, okay, yeah, this was by far the best.
I give this to me, I think this is a solid A. This is a solid A project because he was really in his bag with this one.
Mhm.
Like to me, there were no skips. There were no skips with this project.
Okay.
And there were some definitely solid repeats, like When. That just got me. That When
When was
like
a banger.
a banger and one of my top like workout songs. Definitely.
Yes.
Fuck everything else. Just win.
Win, exactly. Win. Okay. And then the other side with Mozzie, you know, he went real Cali on that one.
Shout out to him.
Love it.
On the track.
Shout out to having Mozzie on that track. Okay. Tap Out was a good one.
Yep.
Okay. Like there were really no skips, and I absolutely love the one with J. Cole. I thought that was really dope.
Out of sight, out of mind. Yeah, that shit was fire.
I thought that was really dope. So
yeah, this is Rock's best project. We get to see Eastside Johnny, and we get to see more of him in this album than we had the previous two. This album is also full of tracks that could have been radio bangers if he wanted it. This is the kind of album that folks were waiting for from J-Rock, and they rightfully got. That's not to say J-Rock has put out any bad albums, but this album definitely made sure he got that recognition he rightfully deserved as TDE's Dark Horse. The Bloodiest is a fire intro. ES Tales and Rotation 112.
Eastside Tales.
Yes.
Talk about it.
Yes.
The video for Eastside Tales.
Woo boy. Tap Out. Out of Sight, Out of Mind with J. Cole. You got Troopers, which is a good filler song, along with Redemption. Of course, King's Dead, which won him the Grammy. Win. And the Wild Freestyle. Like it's so many really, really bangers on this album. There's so many bangers on this album. So this is definitely a solid A for me. I had said 95. What is everybody else's thoughts? Leak, did you go?
I mean, I'd pretty much be repeating everything y'all said. This is easily his best album.
All right.
Rotation, Eastside Tales is my shit. That's my favorite song off the album. If you have not seen the video for Eastside Tales, go watch the video for Eastside Tales. It is very creative. He did a really good job with that. But this is easily an A. I would easily put this at like a 96.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
It's definitely like a 97 for me.
97.
I was gonna say consensus rule.
It's definitely an A. We just got to figure out where it fits. So I said 95. We got 96, 97. Nas, what was your grade?
96.
96. Law.
Might as well just keep it going. 96.
96. 96. So here's the next question. Is it better than The Sun's Tirade? Because it's tied.
I listened to this album more than The Sun's Tirade.
Yeah.
But I listened to both almost equally. But like J-Rock definitely coming before Isaiah. No shade. I'm sorry.
It's cool, man.
I think for me on Redemption, there's more songs that I would actually listen to and have on repeat. Like I have more songs on repeat on Redemption than I did on Sun's Tirade.
Got it. Okay. And now, ladies and gentlemen, King Kendrick.
The King.
We have made it to the end. And of course, out of everybody, he has the most projects that we have to cover here. But as far as his starting from the beginning, the 4 albums are obviously going to get the most talked about. but everything else we're gonna try to go as quickly as possible. So we have to start out with his first project that was released as an EP, even though it had 15 tracks on it, which was the Kendrick Lamar EP. For time's sake, I am gonna try and speed through my thought process on this to try and get it out as quickly as I possibly can. I gave this project a solid B. And here's what it came down to. Kendrick shows early stages of why he's different and not like other rap artists we are accustomed to. At this stage early in his career, he forgets the Khaotic moniker and starts going by his real name minus his last name in an effort to truly express himself as an artist. In order to get the true listening experience, you had to actually go to YouTube and find the EP, since Spotify doesn't have it and DatPiff and SoundCloud didn't have the right track list. But the EP gives us a look into the early look into Kendrick, an artist not trying to follow what was hot at the time and wanted to make his own path by any means necessary. Here are some tracks. PNP, She Needs Me, Wanna Be Heard, Vanity Slaves, Faith, Let Me Be Me are some of the highlights of this EP. While it's not the Kendrick we know now, and some of the songs are a bit campy, like Thanksgiving, it still serves as a premonition to what we would get in the future. It's a B. Maybe B plus. I probably would say 86, 87, somewhere around that range.
I would give this a B. I think it's a good introduction to who he is as an artist. But a solid B. Solid B on that one.
I'm gonna just let y'all know now, from the Kendrick Lamar EP on up, it's going up. So I'm gonna start out at 85. We can agree to disagree, but by the time we get to, I mean, I don't know which one you call last. Like, you got Black Panther, but you got Damn. It's gonna get up there.
That's fair. That's fair. Bro,
can I just say, when this album first came out, bro, this EP, I was like probably, I don't even remember, but like I just know that I played this album so much, so often. It was on repeat. Pussy and Patron was played so often, bro. I don't even know what Kendrick was even on when he started off rapping. Like K-Dot was just like, he was some. I remember I found out on freaking DatPiff, because I was actually on DatPiff searching for this man, searching for his music. I was like, I need more. I need to understand what he's going through. Yeah, this is definitely a solid B plus for me. Solid B plus. So it's like 89.
Okay.
Yeah.
Leak.
Oh yeah, this is absolutely a B plus. I think I got introduced to Kendrick around 2010, 2011. I think I started with Overly Dedicated, then I went back and listened to the EP, and that's when I was like, okay, yeah, this person is going to be the guy, and he lived up to the expectations and exceeded the expectations. Vanity Slaves, one of my favorite songs. Let Me Be Me, when he goes into like kind of like the spoken word. Yeah, I was like, this is the guy. This is like an 87. And like what Law said, it only goes up from here for me.
That's
so.
That's it. I think it's, yeah.
I really want to start this at an A, but I was like, let me be modest and slowly it's gonna get that's it.
All right. So 85, 87, 89, 87. Nasa, what was your grade?
85.
Okay. 86.6, which if that would put it, dang, could Control just keep getting further back. All right. Overly Dedicated. Now, unlike Leak, I actually got introduced to Kendrick by Section 80. However, I had heard tracks from Overly Dedicated when it had dropped. I just had not gone and listened to the full project until after Section 80 dropped, and then I went backwards and listened to the Kendrick Lamar EP and Overly Dedicated, and that was my full introduction. So to talk about Overly Dedicated, let's start somewhere different. Let's Law, we'll start with you.
Overly Dedicated. Oh man. So like a lot of these titles are like symbols in my own growing up. So like we'll go with Opposites Attract, Tomorrow Without Her. You got Michael Jordan, ROTC, The Interlude, Barbed Wire, Average Joe.
This album ain't got no misses.
No.
Like, that's what I'm saying. Like,
Can we just put this in the classic and move on? I'm just saying.
This shit is so good.
like it was so poetic and so well done. Like just every song
it's a
after
90.
the next.
Okay.
You be talking that whoop de whoop, blah
Blah,
blah
blah.
that he said,
Come on.
she said.
said,
Oh
Say-
my god!
What? Shut the fuck up.
Come on, man.
Oh
Come
my
on.
God. Yeah. Cut you off is my
Come
shit.
on.
Okay. Now Law said 90. Here's what I'm gonna say because I'm trying to get to that build here. Again, you had to go to YouTube to get the full 16 tracks. As on the one on Spotify only had 12, but OD plays like an extension of the EP, but Kendrick starts to stand out even more. When you look at songs like I Do This Remix, She Needs Me Remix, Pussy and Patron 1.5, they are continuing of the track from the EP. He even has a few more tracks on this that stood out to me. Alien Girl, which actually used to be my ringtone for one of my exes, Barbed Wire, Growing Apart to Get Closer.
Where are we going?
When I say growing apart, I'm like, damn it, can we
Where
get
are
more
we
TDE and Janae?
Nah, man.
Ignorance is Bliss, which caught the attention of Dr. Dre, Michael Jordan,
Michael
ROTC
Jordan
interlude.
was
I could go
fire.
on. HOC.
Like there's no misses.
Yeah,
There's no
really
misses.
none. The only reason why I'm not putting this as classic is just, that I guess tracks like Michael Jordan maybe aren't like the best tracks,
That's
but
fair.
I still bang the Michael Jordan. So I'm
I
gonna
used to
give
want to
this-
be like Michael Jordan.
Yeah, I'm saying 95.
For overly dedicated.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Okay.
I'm saying 95 maybe just because I'm really trying to like it's so difficult. I want to give it higher, but I'm going to be respectable and say like this is getting to that we're getting closer to that Kendrick boom. So what does everybody else think?
I still go with my B. I still go with my B for overly dedicated, just off of the strength that like you said, we're getting up there. So
but he literally started here.
Yeah, he was up there already, and he just went into space at that point.
At that
So,
point,
Like,
Okay,
That's why I said 90.
so Nasa, what's your grade?
I give it a good old, what did I say, a B, 85.
Okay. Leak.
The shit is 100 for me.
facts.
Oh, whoa.
Facts.
Hey.
Make that 200s, cause I don't know what
The shit is 100.
Like I know
Alright.
y'all trying to be modest and trying to downplay it, but like
Nah.
what?
Ain't nobody
Like,
trying to downplay nothing.
Nah,
like
I'm not here for that.
100.
All right.
This shit is 100.
Okay. Rome, you said Rome, you giving it 100 too?
100.
Yeah.
All right, so first divided by 5, it puts it at a 94.
Just out of that damn classic range.
Yeah,
bro.
it's right behind.
It's still up there.
Y'all can't tell me all 4 of them projects before overly dedicated are for sure
You
better
know,
than them.
I'm gonna leave it alone.
Okay, 10-4.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, I'm gonna keep this short, yo, because Section 80 has a special place in my heart.
Special.
It has a very special place in my heart. This is getting an S. I'm just letting y'all know off rip.
I can agree with you on that one.
Yeah,
Because that truly stamped that I was gonna rock with Kendrick. Like I was rocking with him from the EP, but like when it Section 80, bro, that was like put the stamp on it.
I definitely would give it an A+.
Okay.
I would give it an A+.
So we saying like what, like 97, 98, 99?
95.
Say again?
Wait, that's not an A+. 97. I'll give it an
97?
A+.
Okay. Rome?
This is going to be a 103.
I like that. Hey.
He said, "Put some respect on his name."
Yep.
Oh, it's like when he did this section 80. I'm sorry, I'm going into tangent real quick, but like this shit was so beautifully done with like the interludes, the actual story told through this shit. That's so poetic and so what I love this shit, bro. Like from chapter 6 is Tammy's song to ADHD to fuck your ignition to rigor mortis to cushion
Corinthians.
Come on, man. Like
that's something like y'all
like,
only giving it 90.
Like
y'all,
high power.
Y'all
high power.
This album is tough.
High power.
I still gave it the A+. Let's not trip. I still gave it.
We're not diminishing. We're not going to diminish your thoughts. I'm just telling you, like, because when this album came out, obviously this was my junior year in college, and again, this being my first real introduction to Kendrick, it was like, yo, I literally started asking, like, yo, who is this? Like, for real, who is this? Goodness, and off the strength of ADHD alone, which I can't tell you how many times I've played that song.
Straight to the head. She look at got ADHD.
I cannot tell you how many times I've played ADHD, even to this day. So it's such a vibe. This album is just so good. The story of Tammy and Keisha throughout this entire album, as well as just the concepts behind it. Just the fact that he started off with "fuck your ethnicity" and then just took off from that point. This album got a lot of people hip to Kendrick. A lot of people still didn't know about him yet because there were still people at least from a Hamptonian's perspective, there were a lot of people who still weren't hip to Kendrick yet. But at that time, he had come to our homecoming, and I'm so mad I missed this homecoming show because I was a fan. Damn, but still.
Ain't some shit that we always had to miss something to be in either band or choir. Like,
it was. I'm so mad that I missed it. I caught him again right before Good Kid, Mad City dropped when he came to the Norva in Norfolk. But still, yo, it really just, it was album of the year in 2011. It was the most incredible album I think of that year. And I really wish that more people had heard it back then, but still, I really cannot speak enough about it because there are absolutely no skips on this album. I will listen to this entire album straight through. So as Rome said, 103 for me as well. Law, I think you're the only one that we didn't get a grade for.
Give me, I'll say a 99. That's right on the brink.
101 is the final score, which of course puts it above Control System. We got 5 left.
God damn.
It's almost over. It is almost over, ladies and gentlemen. And then we're gonna do the entire rundown and show you all what this list looks like. And hopefully you'll agree with us. And some of y'all might disagree, but we'll get to there when we get there. Good Kid, Mad City.
Yo.
And don't debate.
I don't think
there's
discussion. Is everybody kind of?
It really just comes down to where in the S class we trying
literally. We're in the S class.
I'm just not gonna talk because I can go on tangents about almost all his albums.
Let's just go ahead and put it in the classic.
Yeah.
Go ahead and just set it there. That was my good.
I think
that was
also. I think also depending on the point of your life that you listen to this album too, because I was like 20 years old when this album came out, like 19, 20, like freshman in college. That drinking around me, the homies that got into bullshit, like the storytelling aspect.
The storytelling aspect of this was so phenomenal.
It was really
from
crazy.
The beginning with the prayer to them going through the whole degradation of them meeting the girl, going through all the bullshit, his niggas getting the clap back, someone's dying. This felt like a freaking movie, but it was an album. Was music.
It's 2 things regarding this album that really upset me. One is the fact that the radio versions don't have the skits at the end, so you don't know the context.
Yeah.
Right.
And 2, the deepest songs on this album were not radio records because they were too long. Sing About Me, Dying of Thirst,
Dying of
Real, And then even the bonus track, Black Boy Fly.
Yes.
But y'all knew they wasn't gonna goddamn get a skits at the end. They not gonna glorify, bro. What? Y'all knew that.
Can we
But
talk about the recipe?
But so many people didn't even understand the concept of what was going on in the album because they only heard the shit on the radio.
Yeah.
correct.
Yeah.
And that shit is a tragedy.
Yeah, you had to listen to the entire album to get what was going on. And I will say this. This album came out when I was a senior. I was 21. And
You was a senior in college? I was a whole ass sophomore.
2012 sophomore year, bro.
yeah, that was y'all sophomore year in high school. Damn, y'all make
in high school.
Nah, but I literally had put this album on. When the album was finished, I sat in silence for 10 minutes. I was that blown back. I'm sitting here like, what the hell did I just listen to? Like,
Greatness.
I was literally just like, yo.
Oh.
Yeah, and my homies, like, as soon as that 10 minutes was up, I got on the phone. I called my homies like, bro, did you listen to this Kendrick album? They were like, bro, come over. You need to hear it on some actual speakers. Like, come over right now. I went to the Harbors. We put that album on, bro. We was just sitting there like, yo, this, wow. Straight through from Shireen all the way down to Compton and even to the bonus songs, bro. Like, Money Trees was my text ringtone. Yo, okay, we'll decide on where this is as far as the S category. Is this the best or second best, third? But we'll figure that out later.
Yo,
we gotta get to Pimp a Butterfly.
Question real quick: am I the only one who's having like OD like going crazy? Cause Kendrick is so fucking fire. I don't even know I can even like rank these albums. I keep going through the different lists and playing a little bit samples. I'm just like, this nigga's fucking a genius.
It's really hard, bro.
It's really hard to even decide which one's better than the other one because like each one had its own appeal, each one had its own greatness to it. Like the Pimp a Butterfly storytelling was fire, and then
to this day, when certain songs come on, I either get super emotional or super hype.
Super hype, yo! I'm literally over here trying to calm down.
Good Kid, Mad City came out 10 years ago. If I go anywhere and Mad City comes on.
Yep.
The California in me, Barus and Crips.
Get along.
Probably got me down. Brace yourself, I take you on the trip down memory lane. I'm going nuts.
Oh man.
Oh, man. Anytime I hear Mad City and I'm just like, I'm Schoolboy Q now because I just get all of it when I hear that
like hype.
I am energized. I'm ready. I can do anything after listening to Mad City, bro. Because that album was so freaking fire.
Yeah.
Okay. It went up when that song came out.
Bro, what's the highest grade again? 110?
110 is the highest grade.
Damn, is that enough?
I'm not gonna lie to you.
It's probably not. I only did it so that when we could cap it. It's like I didn't want to cap. These albums might just. Oh boy!
Is it kind of safe to say we just go ahead and just put all of them in the S?
You know, I don't know.
For me, the only one that wouldn't be an S that'd be high A is Untitled Unmastered.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
I would agree. I would agree.
Yeah, that's solid.
That's a solid A.
Oh, don't cry.
Oh, the pop-up's getting you.
Yeah,
pop-up's getting you, bro.
So I gotta. Let's
see. I still remember the first time I heard.
We've been out here too long.
Like at the end of the album when Mortal Man came on.
Yo, Mortal.
I thought Unmastered was just really poetic, and granted, it's not an S, but damn it, it's close. It's solid. It's very poetic. It's very cohesive. I love it.
What I loved about Untitled Unmastered is the instrumentation alone. Like every beat that he had on there was a bop, was a fly. Pimp. Hooray!
Listen, that song was on repeat.
What?
Love to get you high. Hey, get you high. Levitate.
Bro.
So are we putting Untitled Unmastered like above Redemption or?
I would put it right behind Redemption.
Right behind.
I don't know. I would put it before, but I mean consensus does rule. But I just love the title of Master because it definitely was different. And even though it was side B to like the Pimp Butterfly, it definitely was deserves to be an album of its own because he was in a bag. He wasn't in his bag, but he was in a bag just having fun with this shit. It was
in somebody's bag.
He was in somebody. I don't know whose bag it was, but that bag was full.
So
how would y'all order his albums though?
That's the next question.
That's the question.
And
Well, we talking Kendrick?
yeah, we gotta hold on. Let's find out where does this Black Panther album go?
Oh, that's
I would also put
I would
Black
put
Panther
that
in.
in. I would put that in the A category.
I mean,
Yeah,
I was gonna say that goes back towards like Section 80, overly dedicated, somewhere around there.
Okay.
Mhm. And that's just off the center. The features alone was fire.
Correct.
The features on Black Panther. Bro,
Big Shot.
I don't think I've ever seen a better feature list than
Peanut
any
butter
album.
inside, outside, cocaine, white body look like them. Boy,
Big Shot.
Big Shot was my shit.
The
Big
Ops.
Shot was my
Big
shit.
Shot.
Ops on the radar.
Ops on the,
Ops on the Radar was my shit.
Ops on the radar. No one with me. When that shit came out in the movie, though, I was like, okay.
And what was the other one? 10. Are you on 10 yet? Are you
Are
on
you
10?
on 10 yet? I live on 10.
Also, with the SOB RBE track, what was that one called?
Oh, yeah.
Wish a nigga would.
Oh, yeah. What's that? Too Grizzly, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That shit was fire.
All right. So, how would you order
Paramedic.
his albums? Would we do? That's. I guess that's where it comes down to.
I will
It's gonna
put,
be hard, man.
to be honest, on off rip, good. Listen.
Yeah.
Listen.
For me, it's
Good Kid, Mad City
first.
has to be first. Off rip has to be first.
And it's to me, it's just slightly ahead of To Pimp a Butterfly.
Okay.
And then after Pimp a Butterfly would have to be Damn.
Yeah.
I would agree with that. Yeah.
Wait, Good Kid, Damn, To Pimp
No.
a Butterfly.
No, Pimp the Butterfly, then Damn. I would
we
say.
got some contention here. All right. So, in my honest opinion, I was more of To Pimp a Butterfly, Good Kid, Mad City, and Damn, but it's still that's crazy. The fact that we have to have.
But
that
I will say this. In my entire life, I think to me, I've only listened to maybe 5 albums that I think are flawless, and he got 2 of them. That to me, Good Kid, Mad City, and To Pimp a Butterfly are flawless albums.
Yeah.
It really comes down to preference.
Yeah, I think what we'll do is we'll say at the beginning, like it really just comes down to your preference. But those first 3, the first 3 right here are there's. You can contend however you want, but when we talk about the story of his adolescence in Good Kid, Mad City, the story of his stardom plus his blackness and trying to figure that out in To Pimp a Butterfly, and then the story of his faith in Damn, it really just boils down to preference and what you prefer. And the fact that Good Kid, Mad City did not get the accolades that it should have.
The fact that it lost to freaking Macklemore at the Grammys.
Macklemore.
That had
That's
me
just
tight.
That's like the
That
greatest
actually had
robbery
me
I've ever
tight.
seen.
That had me tight. I was like, wow.
But you know what's crazy?
That was
Kendrick
such a
Lamar
robbery.
losing that Grammy and how Macklemore responded is what sparked the whole Kendrick Drake beef. Do you know that?
I don't
Now
know.
that I didn't
So
realize it.
this is what happened. Macklemore wins the album. After that, he goes on IG and apologizes to Kendrick because he felt like he had robbed him. Drake got mad because he apologized to Kendrick and was like, well, if you felt like you didn't deserve the award, you should have apologized to all of us. And ever since then, that's when it became a thing. Because after that, that's when they stopped featuring each other. I think after that, the only other song they was on might have been Fucking Problems after that, maybe. After that, that's when they parted ways. And that was literally what caused it, because Drake felt slighted that Macklemore felt like he should have gave the award to Kendrick, but he didn't mention anybody else. He directly apologized to Kendrick on IG about feeling like he robbed him.
But what does that have to do with Drake.
Not a damn thing.
Nothing.
Not a damn
Not a
thing.
damn
You being
thing.
nosy.
Because it's Drake.
It's Drake. You
But
little.
because that was also when it was either Take Care or Nothing Was the Same. I think it was Nothing Was the Same was in that same Grammy category, and he
Nothing
lost
was
to.
the same. I believe was in the same category. Yeah,
And of course everybody was like Kendrick got robbed, and nobody thought Drake got robbed.
Well, Drake. No one's talking about you.
No one
And
cares.
that's the thing.
and in my
It's about-
opinion, like I love Nothing Was the Same, but it's not. It's nothing compared to Good Kid, Mad City. That's just me. Drake has the star power, but that none of his albums can see Kendrick's best. That's just me personally. None of his albums, in my opinion, can see any of his three. Like, even despite the fact that a lot of people may argue if Damn might be his weakest out of the three, Damn still won a fucking Pulitzer. So it's like
fucking Pulitzer, bro. For music.
No other rap album had done that before, and no rap album after that has done it. It's literally just like, yo, all of these albums are far and beyond anything that anybody else has dropped, outside of certain hip hop classics. But in the last decade, in my opinion, just nothing can top those three.
This is true.
So at any rate, guys, I think it's a good time to wrap up. But for our audience, we're going to do the rundown one more time of the final rundown. And this is our longest episode yet. So we have in the S category, these three albums can be interchangeable. Kendrick's Good Kid, Mad City. Kendrick's To Pimp a Butterfly. Kendrick's Damn. After that, in the S category, you have Section 80, Control System. In the A category, you have J-Rock's Redemption. Kendrick's Untitled Unmastered. The Sun's Tirade by Zay. November by Sir. Blank Face LP by Schoolboy Q. The Black Panther album by Kendrick. Overly Dedicated by Kendrick. It is a tie between Sylvia Demo and The House is Burning by Zay. Chasing Summer by Sir, and There You Have It by Reason. In the B category, you have Oxymoron by Schoolboy Q. Also Habits and Contradictions by Q. The Kendrick Lamar EP. Control by SZA. Follow Me Home by J-Rock. Long-Term Mentality by Ab-Soul. Setbacks by Schoolboy Q. 90059 by J-Rock. These Days by Ab-Soul. Z by SZA. Crash Talk by Q. In the mid category, you have New Beginnings by Reason. Run Wild, Run Free by Zakari. Do What Thou Wilt by Ab-Soul. In the dud category, you have Introverted Intuition by Lance Skywalker. Nothing Made the Flop category. Surprise, surprise. And then the EP rundown. Her To and Her by Sir, followed by Soul by Zakari. We've left for Less for More, Demo 1 by Reason in the middle. The Tales from the Telescope, Chapter 2, Eternal Shine. Then Peer Pressure, and then Tales from the Telescope, Chapter 1, Rebirth. Let us know, of course, if you agree or disagree with any of these takes. We have covered every single major project or EP by all the artists of TDE, not including any of the mixtapes or any of the albums that were released by these artists before they became a member of TDE. With that, it is a good time to sign off. But before we do, Leek and Rome, of course, do you guys have anything to promote?
I'll leave it to you, Leek.
Hey man, like he said, we're part of Worst Generation Podcast. You follow us on Twitter at Worst Gen Pod, worstgenerationpodcast.com. Come up, pull up for Anime After Dark. That's on Thursdays now at 8:30 CST. Fuck with us on that. I mean, y'all know what it is. Y'all see us on the timeline. Just come fuck with us.
Word.
All right, guys. Anything or any last words from Law and or Nasa?
No, I appreciate y'all coming through and hanging out with us. You know what I'm saying? It's always, good to link up and rap and talk about these heated debates. And
we could have got a lot more heated, to be honest.
We could have, but I mean, look, we got more roundtables to come. But
absolutely.
I'm hoping I can get some changes of opinions over on the other side.
Hell no.
Nah.
All right. Nasa, any last or any final thoughts?
No final thoughts. It was really great doing this with you guys. So let's do this again.
Okay. For sure.
For sure.
All right. Indeed. All right, guys. So We got to do our business rundown, starting with the podcast. Obviously, Worst Generation Pod. I am a Patreon subscriber to Worst Gen, so definitely shout out to y'all. Also, shout out to Mike Check, Waifu, and Bland Anime Podcast. I'm also a Patreon subscriber to those two podcasts as well. For your anime consumption, also please be sure you check out Analytical, where shit gets critical. And Dad Needs to Talk with Rob, aka the father of Vash. Shout out, of course, to the Truth and Transparency Podcast. If you have not checked out the episode where I'm featured on there, please be sure that you do. Also check out our episode as well with them. They are really dope people, and we are definitely going to collab again. Shout out to Inside the Mind of a Blurred, especially Skylar. Shout out to you. The session with Jay and Trey. We definitely got to get a wrestling episode in. I've heard that Trey might be going to WrestleMania himself. I might have to hop on that plane with you, bro. But we'll see where it goes. I might be out in Texas again sooner than I thought. We'll see.
Hey, pull up.
Yes, sir. Brutal Honesty with K. Renee, aka Sedona Rose. Please be sure that you check out our podcast and check out her books. You can check them out. Her pen name, once again, is Sedona Rose, and you can check out all of her novellas and stories on Amazon Kindle. To the Black content creators, Black Anime, HBCU Anime, and Sundari, please be sure that you check out their YouTube pages. The Geechi Gamer, definitely shout out to her on Twitch. Icarus Metro Comics, definitely shout out to him. And, of course, Studio Maho. For our Black businesses, Already Paid by my boy Dre, Cream Cosmetics by my girl Naima, and Mind Over Money by Tremaine, Concept Moon by Strange Keith, She Designs Too, my girl Erin, Black Magic, aka Lip Wands by my girl Lauren, and H4 Creative Firm by our girl Zenobia. Be sure that you like, share, and subscribe to the Khaotic Krew Podcast. You can like and follow us on Facebook at Khaotic Krew Podcast. You can also follow us on Instagram at Khaotic Krew Pod and on Twitter at Khaotic_Culture. You can follow me, Ked the Pro, that's K3D the Pro, on all social media. You can follow NASA on all social media at _call me NASA. And you can follow Law on Instagram at L.JR_96, and you can follow him on Twitter at Law96_. This has been another edition of the Khaotic Krew Podcast. Until next time, folks, remember, embrace the culture. Chaos rules. Let us know how you feel about that tier, whether you agree or disagree on our album placements. I'm pretty sure we're going to get a lot of flack on some of these albums, but rules are rules, fair is fair. We have a system. We got to stick to it. Thank you again to Worst Gen for pulling up. I definitely appreciate you guys tuning in. To everybody else, be blessed, be safe. God is love. Deuces.
One.
Yeah.
Adios.
Look, it's chaos in these streets, so let's talk about it, please. Let's hold some conversation. You see where I'm coming from. Yes, it's so amazing. Go ahead, get comfortable. You can grab a seat, take a load off your feet. Yeah, welcome to the table. We don't tell no lies over here. This ain't no fable. We just live our lives over here. We ain't no angels. We just shine our light over here. We got the power. We just showing love over here. Cause everybody needs some, yeah. And we don't need a reason.